My name's Eric.
Okay, Eric. So I'm Chris.
Yes.
So yeah, feel free. I
Good to
guess
meet
I
you,
don't
man.
mind you calling me. Yeah, good meeting you.
Yeah. So I usually, when I'm texting people and stuff, I'm like, "Hey, brother. Hey, man.
Uh-huh.
What time you
Right,
want to
right.
do?"
Well,
So,
see, me having I'm 100% VA disabled.
okay.
So one of them I got 7% on PTSD.
Yeah.
So one of the symptoms on there diagnosed with short-term memory.
Sure.
Pretty much, so if it doesn't really make if I don't feel like it actually worth anything, I just
Hmm.
forget it. Like, number one, people's name, unless I'm
Gone.
like, I guess exactly. It's like, hey, I'm Eric, and then 5 minutes later,
Yeah.
hey, bro, it's
Yes.
just so much easier to do it that
Well,
way.
it'll be bro forever. Okay, that's what it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. That's 100%, brother. That's a hundred
Especially,
percent.
especially with veterans. We don't
Yeah.
half the guys I served with. I don't. I mean, I know their last names. But
Right, right. Oh, that's
it's
how we refer to each other.
absolutely. Yeah.
Because ever since I was a little private too, I was the squad leader, platoon sergeant. Then you start calling them last name, and
Yeah.
then later on we build the rapport. You call them by their, I guess, terms of endearment. Hey, knucklehead,
Yeah.
stuff
Exactly.
like that. You
Or
just come up with
shitbird.
it,
Yeah, hey,
right? And then
you know
they don't
that
understand
shitbird
it.
over there that doesn't,
Exactly,
he never shows up on time? That dude.
exactly, exactly. And you know what? The thing is that we don't take offense to it.
Mm,
Because for us, that's a term of endearment. That's
yep,
not to degrade us or whatnot. It
exactly.
feels good to be part of the group, to be given a name.
Right.
That's how I looked at it. Growing up in ranks,
Yeah.
and finally, I retired in 2018, December 1st, and I'm happy.
Oh,
That's
dude,
why I
that's
got
awesome.
so much time in my hands right now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, because I can't work because of my disability.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? So let's start a team, right? And then SMD was I guess the version 2 of
Oh,
that.
okay.
Version 1 didn't quite work out, so we
Sure.
gotta go. All right, we gotta make us, version 2. We learned a lot from version 1, so let's start again with this one and let's make it big, right?
That's really common.
So
That's really
right.
common. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
And then the problem nowadays, though, is that that's a problem nowadays with because I've been playing airsoft since 2005.
Okay.
When evic used to come over to the field and drop off boxes of matrix bb's to our team for R&D. This is when evic was still a little shop in, I believe it's Alhambra, right? Because he started up with a small shop, grown to about 100 folds now, right? We know
Yeah.
that he got a warehouse now, and he used to come to us, hey man, we're starting to introduce this Matrix BB, and we wonder if pretty much for us to test it. I was with a team in California back then called Hagibis, or it's like Swift in a Filipino term, because
Tagalog.
most of us Tagalog, yeah, there you
Hmm.
go.
I
And
spent
then
a year in Japan in
close
Okinawa.
enough. Yeah,
Okinawa. So
Oki's the place though.
Oki has a lot of Filipino chicks there. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But that's exactly how
Okay.
we all ended up. First, we used to have a real tight alliance with Roughnecks back then. This was
Okay.
back in 2005. I mean, 2005. There's only three airsoft manufacturers back then, being Tokyo Marui, with their plastic body but amazing internals.
Okay.
And then we had Classic Army, which has the first to come up with a metal body.
What? I didn't know.
Yes.
See, look, man, I don't,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of stuff about like the history of airsoft that I
Right,
don't know
right,
that I learn while I'm talking with
right,
people on here. So
right.
yeah, I had no clue like the
Yeah.
origins of Evic and that kind of thing. I mean, I called
Right.
it Evike until about last year. You know what
Oh,
I'm saying?
okay.
Like,
So
yeah,
he's a nice guy. He's like down to earth and whatnot.
yeah.
Now of course that they've blown up so big, of course he got people that answers phones for him and whatnot. That's expected growth,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah.
But back then it was the main suppliers in the US, more specifically California, was Evic and Walter. Walter was the guy behind Airsoft GI.
Oh, really?
Right. And back then they were like, you could just go up to the store, hey Evic, hey Walter, and you just go to their shop, talk to them like like just you and them.
Yeah.
Now you got to pass through 20,000
Oh,
bouncers in
for
between,
sure.
right? So, and
Yeah.
that's how I remember airsoft. That's how it started up. And back then, we just don't go through a game. We hold potlucks at those events. Yeah, that's how Huggy this was. That's how we were close. We were, we don't just
Dude.
go. Yeah, we don't go to the event. We go event, take break for lunch, and have potluck, and then go back and shoot each
Oh
other
my
again.
gosh. Who wouldn't show
And
up for
that's
that?
exactly, and that's why, and that's the environment I want to bring my new team into.
Yeah.
Right? We are, that's how I learned to bring a team over. Right?
Okay.
Version one, I'm not gonna name the team,
Sure.
but eventually we found out that there was I guess a child molester within the group,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
And when it did happen, and I found out about it, we kept a close look at this person.
Yeah.
We had a police officer that was on the team.
Mm.
I'm not gonna name, like I said, I'm not about to name
No,
people or
man,
whatnot.
that's cool. Yeah.
Exactly. And but we kept an eye on this person.
Yeah.
He was there on the field with us with kids in there, but this person, knowing the trouble he could get into, said, you know what, I want to just tag in with you. And me, I'm a firm believer of, okay, people are capable of changing,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
I
Mhm.
mean, not everyone shits potpourri, excuse my language, right? Nobody's perfect. All their
Yeah.
shit stinks,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And that's why I said, okay, let's do this. But once this came into light, people start like, "Ooh, this team is this." They harbor molesters and whatnot. Right now,
Yeah.
it's just me being a person and believing people capable of changing.
Yeah.
Right? If I could go into the cop system, go get access to an NCIC background check on every single person in airsoft, I bet you there's a lot more people that's done
A
worse
lot more.
than what he's done. I
Not only
guarantee you
that,
that.
yeah, there's a well, the other thing too is there's a really fine
Mhm.
line with the I'm not sure like the different charges, criminal
Mhm.
charges and stuff, but like
Right.
the child molester, I'm not sure how that's listed, but
Mhm.
the sexual offenders. So that's a
Mhm.
really broad term.
Right.
So
Right.
what I learned was one of my neighbors years and years ago
Mhm.
was listed as a sexual offender. He had to tell me, okay, he felt like
Right.
by
Right.
law, and he did, and he told me the situation, and he was 19, his
Uh
girlfriend
huh.
was 17,
Uh huh.
still in high school. He had just graduated.
Right. Right.
The parents found out, did not like him,
Right.
and filed the charges. So she was totally fine with, hanging out with him. They were girlfriend, boyfriend for like a year before her
Right.
parents
Right.
found out.
Right.
So he was listed as a sexual offender because she was a minor
Right. Right.
in that state.
Technically, right.
So yeah, so it's like here in South Carolina, that wouldn't fly
Uh huh.
because if she was 17 or whatever, because she wouldn't be listed as a minor
Hey,
in
but
that
but hold
situation.
on, Eric. This conversation will be taken out of context by some people.
That's true.
Because they're gonna think, oh, they're harboring child molesters, and
I
all
know,
that.
right?
Just put as a disclaimer: we do
Yeah.
not harbor anyone, but us being people
Yeah.
that believes in people capable of changing.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
welcome the idea and we're open minded about it.
So there was a guy
You
I
know.
interviewed or had on the podcast. He had a
Uh huh.
really cool Instagram and
Uh huh.
I think YouTube as well. And
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
played airsoft for a long time. He was young,
Uh
like
huh.
mid-20s, something like that.
Right. Right.
So I had him on probably almost 2 years ago. So then probably the end of last year, somewhere around there,
Mm-hmm,
6, 8
mm-hmm,
months ago, somebody sent me a message saying, like, tagging this video on YouTube where this guy that I had on the podcast got
mm-hmm,
caught trying to meet up with like a 13 or 14-year-old girl. Okay.
mm-hmm,
And it
mm-hmm.
was one of these YouTube channels that outs those kind of people, like
Right.
meeting
Right. Right.
with
Right.
younger girls or whatever.
Ooh, a
So
predator, basically.
yeah, like that.
Okay.
And so I had all these messages saying like, take this video down, or this interview and stuff. And I was like, no,
No.
because uh, in the video that him and I are
Uh-huh.
talking, like you and I are talking, there's
Right,
no
right, right.
None of that. We talk about his background and his how he got into airsoft, and he showed off a
Right.
ton of airsoft gear. It was really
Right.
really cool,
Right. Right.
like samurai stuff that he wore. It was really cool. So it was. I was like, no, I'm not taking it down because that
Right.
has zero to do with that situation.
Right. Right.
So I understand why people were saying that, but I don't really fall into that too much.
Right.
Like you know, it's like especially nowadays with social media,
Oh
the
gosh.
news, any kind of thing that comes out is like this. People are just swaying in the wind. Like they don't have a firm foundation on
Right.
how to judge things with common sense. They just
Right.
they want to the knee jerk reaction is such a common thing now, and I don't like that. I really
Right.
don't.
Right.
Because I
Right.
believe
Well,
like you
common
believe.
sense is not too common anymore, believe it or
I
not.
know, right?
Right. It depends on what the person they watch on YouTube thinks,
Yeah.
or what someone they look up to
Yeah.
thinks, and then they a lot of people are not capable of making their own minds
Uh
nowadays.
no.
And it's
It's the
gotten
whatever's
rampant
popular
in the
opinion.
sport. Right.
Yeah.
And you know what? In Hawaii, I'll tell you what, initially, because I've been playing in Hawaii since I got stationed here in 2012. I'm not from Hawaii. Let me
Yeah.
just put
Yeah,
it
I was
that
gonna say,
way.
why don't you go into your introduce yourself, go into
Okay,
your
sure.
background, and
Right.
then like where you grew up, and then how you got
Okay.
into the military, and then
Okay.
how you found airsoft so early
Right.
on,
Right. Right.
and then yeah, definitely, man, because I'm
Okay.
really interested.
Sure. Sure. Hey, y'all. I'm Chris. I don't know where the y'all came from. I'm not from. Well, I am from the South. I am from the South. If you
Yeah.
consider Southern California South, right? But I was originally born in the Philippines, right? And I came to the US back in 1990. Oh my
Okay.
gosh, I just aged myself, didn't I?
Hey,
Um,
man, I
yeah,
graduated high
and
school in '89. Okay, so
oh, junior. No, so I joined the military back in November 27, 1998.
okay.
Initially, I joined the Navy because everyone makes mistakes, right? And then
Oh,
and tell you
hey,
what,
no offense, Freddie Luck.
Nate, folks,
Okay,
I got nothing
Veterans for
against you. I was a
Airsoft.
brother back then, right? But I was there as actually I started as a what was that aircraft handler on the carrier. The people that's on the flight deck in yellow shirts directing airplanes where to
Oh
park and
shit,
whatnot. Right?
nice. Yeah,
It
yeah.
was pretty cool. Then later on, I progressed into becoming an aircraft firefighter,
Oh,
where I
okay.
sit on the flight deck on a fire truck in a potato suit,
Oh, is
waiting
that what
for
they call them?
something. Right. It was like he had gold shield on there. It's real
Mm.
expensive stuff. But you know
Hmm.
what? It's free. I'll take it. Right. We just sat there in the Middle East now, where it's 130 degrees in the shade,
Woo!
in that potato suit, and we just cook ourselves to death every day, waiting for something to happen. Thank God nothing happened, right? But that, and then I was the easiest recruit from any service back then. I joined the military because guess what? Top Gun was out.
Dude,
Dude, let's go join the Navy.
I'm telling
That
you.
would be
And I
cool.
was just gonna say the guy you're talking about, like what you
Uh-huh.
did on the flight deck,
Uh-huh.
those dudes were badass in original Top Gun.
Yeah,
Like they look
exactly.
cool. They got the cool uniforms. They're on the flight deck. They're right next to the freaking
Right.
Tomcat that's like flying by him, flying off the
Exactly.
jet or flying off the deck. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a dream of mine back then, being young, dumb, and full of what. Were to see a tomcat, that a big giant fighter plane
Yeah.
landing in front, 30 feet in front of you.
Whoa, dude.
It's pretty dang cool. And seeing a fully loaded Tomcat or Hornet back then take off with aim missiles, harm missiles, all kinds of stuff, and coming back empty.
Holy cow.
And that's during Operation Southern Watch. Whereas,
Oh,
we're watching Iraq, make sure they don't cross over and whatnot.
right.
So it's all open source now. I could say, that because I
Oh,
got to be
yeah.
careful sometimes what I say, right? Because,
Right.
we did sign something saying, hey, we're not going to talk about this.
Yeah. Don't talk about it, dude.
Right. So that's how the Navy got me, because of Top Gun, right? And
Yeah.
then Iraq happened, 9/11 happened. I was already in service. I walked in the flight deck office what look, everyone's looking at it, right? Walking in, just woke up, came down. Oh, what movie's this? I was like, oh, it's real life. I was like, bull crap. And then as soon as I say bull crap, that's when the second plane hits.
Ooh.
And that's when we're like, all right, shoot, we got to get ready. Right.
Yeah.
So the same day, everyone, they said, all right, all boats will leave San Diego because they might hit the Navy bases next. So all the boats in San Diego port was empty because all of us was out there, and we're taking on fuel, we're taking on food, just in case we get extended and pushed out to engage or whatnot. So it didn't happen, thank God. Right. And then we went. I did 2 deployments. Out of that, one from the East Coast, and then one from the West Coast. So I did a med cruise, and I also did a Westpac. Okay. So I'm what they call the golden shellback, because every time you cross the equator, Navy does a shellback tradition. It's pretty cool.
I was gonna say, so for anyone out there that doesn't know, Westpac and then Medpac, Mediterranean. So explain both of those, and then explain the equator thing, because there's like a tradition when you cross the equator in the Navy, like on a ship.
Right. So Westpac, number one, goes on the West Coast Navy, where they go through different ports in the West Coast, and they pretty much end somewhere in the Middle East somewhere. That's the divide, right? So they got different fleets in different parts of the world. Right. So when I was in the Westpac, we went to Singapore, Thailand, the Philippines, and different ports all over the place. Right. All while patrolling and make sure, peacekeeping type. Right. Right. Make sure everyone's being good and whatnot. That's what the Navy's job is, you know. And then when I did the med cruise, the Mediterranean part, we went to Italy, Greece, everything that's on the east side of the world, basically, from the United States. And so crossing the equator is a tradition the Navy has, where every time you do the cross equator, right, on the globe, they do a ceremony where, it's so much better back then because it was game on.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, you can't do anything but wet them with water.
It's PC, bro.
Come on. It's way too PC. Back then we found the biggest dude in the boat and have his belly all greased up and put a penny in his belly button, and you're supposed to get that without using your hands.
No, hold on now. Explain. So what is this now?
It's one of the stations you got to go through, basically. Okay. Right. This before you become a shellback, you are considered a polywog. Right. Polywog is pretty much that's how the initiation rites into crossing the equator. Right. So they got different stations where you got to go through. And this is all for fun. It's a tradition, right? That's been going on since way back in the days. Right. Right. That's why I respect the Navy a lot, because they are the ones that are keeping the most tradition.
Oh, they are.
I mean, they got their Cracker Jack still at this point. Right?
I love it. I know.
Right. Yeah. And then but they changed it, the designs and whatnot. And that's what I love about militaries, how about the culture. But now there's a lot of people that want to change cultures. And like what you said earlier, everyone's being too PC nowadays. Right. Yeah. Being PC comes, forgetting about the past, forgetting about traditions. Right.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is that the traditions we had in the past is what molded us the way we are today.
Absolutely. Well, they make you, it's a rite of passage. Right. It might be gross. It might be hard. It might be tough. It might be, painful or whatever, but did you die? But did you die? Right.
Right. So, and the people back then, they're giving the option to, sorry about that bird.
No, you're good, man. That's cool.
It's back then they were given the option. Hey, you could join in the fun. If you do not, go in the fantail. Go somewhere where you're isolated, so you don't have to see it, so you don't get offended or whatever.
Go hide your virgin eyes.
Exactly.
Okay?
Basically,
we can do the big boy stuff over
exactly.
here. Exactly.
So
what did they do now? They greased up somebody's belly?
They find the biggest out of shape sailor on the boat.
Yeah.
Right? With the biggest belly you can find. And then they grease out his belly and all that and put a penny right in the middle.
Okay.
And you're supposed to get that. As a polywog, one of the stations, you got to get that out of that belly button without using your hands.
Oh,
right.
Shit.
So as soon as they get close to the belly, that person just grabs their back of the head, just rubs them all over their belly. I mean, it's fun. I mean, tell me that is not fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know,
no.
And the person that does that, just laugh it off and then, all right, that's cool. Let's go to the next
for
station,
sure.
right? One of the station is, a kiddie pool, right? Like 5 feet wide and whatnot. You're supposed to go in it on one end and come out the other, right?
Okay.
Except they use fish sauce as water in there. I don't know if I don't know if you will know what fish sauce is. But pretty much they get fish and somehow extract the nastiest fishiest smell out of it and use it as a soy sauce, and it's good. I love fish sauce because it's good. It's liquid salt, basically, right? And they fill the thing up, and you're supposed to dive under and get out the other side, smelling like crap.
Oh yeah,
and because that's what fish sauce. Imagine like I guess you leave a fish out for days under the sun. Except it's liquid, it's all over you and whatnot. But guess what? It was still fun, right? No one got offended and all. Everyone's laughing and whatnot, having a great time. And then one station that's always gonna be there for me is bobbing for apples, right? Everyone know bobbing for apples, right? Except we put it in a toilet.
That's awesome.
To bob the islet,
I've heard of that.
The apple out of the toilet, right? Of course, everything, they make sure it's clean and whatnot. It's just the idea of someone going and putting their head and mouth on that toilet and getting that apple out. It's gross and whatnot, but guess what? It was great.
Yeah.
Right. And then this goes on the ceremony, or, it goes on for about maybe 6-8 hours. Right. And the whole time you're walking like a pollywog. Right. A pollywog is when imagine one of your arm, you stick it in the front and out the back between the legs, right? And your other hand in front of you.
Okay.
Right? Now, this goes on for, imagine you got 5,000 people on a carrier, right? And you, with your hands, it's supposed to interlock with the person in front of you and behind you.
Whoa,
and
in
you
between
walk
your legs
around like
when you're bent down.
Right. So it's like a big caterpillar going throughout the boat, right? And you only break free your hands when you do a certain station.
Oh, okay.
Right. And that day, everything was green. They cooked bacon with some food dye. Everything, even the milk was green. So everything was green. Yeah. So
see, this is what I love, dude. That's what I love about Navy ship life. Okay, these stories I've heard. I've only spent time on I think 6 days total. Right. When I went from Okinawa to South Korea, we took a boat, took a Navy ship, and then back, right? And it was like 2 or 3 days each ride.
Right.
And I hear all these stories from these sailors, and I'm like, dude, that's freaking awesome. Like,
were you a Mew or
shit?
Were you with Mew?
Oh no, I was with the 9th Motors Battalion, Marine Corps in Okinawa in 1990. And we went to Operation Team Spirit.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it's something that Marines do with the ROK Marines, the Republic of Korea Marines, over there every year. So I'm not sure if they still do it, but 1990 is a long time ago.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so we took the St. Louis over there, USS St. Louis, and we took the USS Dubuque back, which was a flat bottom, and we all were puking our guts out, bro.
Yep.
And the Navy dudes the sailors were laughing their asses off at us. We're like, oh shit. Okay. You're not so tough now, are you, Marine?
Right. And that's one thing I get close because we're big platforms. We are like for the carrier, we had the Marine Air Wing. And then my second boat when I was in the West Coast, we were with 11th Mew out of Pendleton. Right. Awesome. And we got to, hang around with, just hang out with the Marines and whatnot. I got a couple of buddies that was deployed. That was a Marine back then. Yeah. And I still keep in touch with them to this day. Right. The only thing about Mew that I remember is pretty easy to get promoted, but a lot easier to get demoted.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the thing about the Mew mentality. And that's what they told me. It's like, if you become a Marine, don't do this. And that's why I didn't go to join the Marines. I went to the Army instead.
Oh, okay. You went so how long were you in the Navy?
I was with the Navy for 7 years and with the Army for 13. So I capped off my career with the Army. Yeah. Right. So I was ordnance, I went to EOD school. Then I went to military police school.
Damn,
and
bro.
then I went to military intelligence. So I got those on my ERB.
So you spent time on ship,
mm-hmm.
did all the equator stuff.
7 years.
You had the military dream life. Like I'm, like my daughter went in the Air Force to travel. Okay.
Right.
She goes in for 4 years. She thinks, because I traveled, right? I went to, Okinawa. I went to South Korea. I went to California.
Right.
Pendleton. And she's like, oh yeah, I want to do 4 years like you did and then travel, and I'm like, I don't know if the Air Force, because they look at it, the Air Force is more like long-term, like career mentality. So you're going to get somewhere and stay there unless you're like a pilot or something. But so she was stationed at Columbus, Mississippi, an air base out there, which was a training base for all the new pilots. So they trained on prop planes too out there, and she would have to clear them. She was the admin. She had to clear them for medical, for the flight and whatever. But she was there the whole 4 years. She was like, "There's nothing out here. This sucks. It was boring as hell." And I was like, "Yeah, sometimes that's the military, okay?"
Right.
You went on ship. You went around, you got to travel around, and then you went in the Army. And how was the transition from the Army? Like, did you have to do any kind of their boot camp or anything?
Okay, so back then, when the Iraq, Afghanistan war kicked off, they really need people out in the field, right? And since they were hurting people, because that's how it is when a conflict arises, everyone's like hustling, like getting people as much in to get them in theater, right? And then after the conflict is done, they fire people, right? That's then the whole thing, it's a cycle.
True. Yeah,
it's a cycle that they build up, right? And back then, since they were hurting people on the ground, and a lot of Air Force and Army folks want to get more involved on the ground instead of on a ship or on an airfield somewhere, right? So they Army came up with this I guess it's a recruiting campaign called Blue to Green program. And my class was the first one to go through Blue to Green program.
Really?
Right. Blue to Green program, basically, since you already know the basics of being in the military, discipline and teamwork, the concepts of them, right?
Right.
They give you a modified basic training in the Army where they give you a month to pretty much, instead of calling an admiral, we call him general.
Right.
Instead
you learn
of calling
all the
captain, the terminologies and
all
whatnot.
the terminologies. And who to salute, who not to salute. And
so I shit you not, my senior drill sergeant at one time came to me and they try to smoke you. Smoking you, it's like shark attack, and they do all this. And we're like, let's go. Right.
And
exactly. You can't smoke someone that's burnt out. Let's go. Let's do this.
Bro,
right.
Come on.
And we were going, and at the end of the day, we had the senior drill sergeant give up. I said, you know what? I don't know what to do with you guys. You guys already got the concept and whatnot.
Yeah.
Some of us had more ribbons.
Oh, I'm sure.
Than them. Right. That I had my stack and all that. And we're like, we don't know what to do with you guys.
Like, dude. Right? I crossed the equator and ate a freaking coin out of some fat dude's belly button. You ain't got shit, okay?
Exactly.
Your little push-ups ain't shit to me.
But we can't do that. We wish we could.
No,
but
I know.
Eventually, so that was going through basic training, and then I had to go when I crossed over, went to MPs. I had to do somewhat a modified, I guess, I don't know what, Marine Corps AIT or A school.
Yeah.
Right. To get to know the actual job. Right. Mm-hmm. So I went to the MPs. Actually, I went as a corrections guy.
Okay.
So I did my time in Leavenworth on the good side of the fence.
Did you, when you were growing up in the Philippines, were you like, did you get in fights? Did you like fighting? Or did you learn fighting at all?
We were taught how to get beat up and how to defend ourselves. Okay. That's all. Growing up, we got different martial arts in the Philippines. I'm sure you heard of arnis, and stick fighting and whatnot, right? Because believe it or not, when on Bach. Yep, that's another brand. So they got that. It's pretty much the same art, but different regions had called them something different.
Okay.
Right. So with, I guess back in the days, they fought off Japanese with sticks initially.
Right.
Right. And it then eventually evolves to two bolos. You know, I don't care if you got a gun. I got two long ass bolos coming for you, swinging like crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Right. You better know how to defend yourself with a rifle. You better be a good shot. Right. And so
you only get about one or two shots off before I'm on your ass. Yeah.
Well, that's 1-on-1. Now you got 50 of them fuckers coming around you with 100 bolos swinging. You know, you better be good. You know, and that's pretty badass. You're fighting guns with bolos.
Oh, for sure. Well, the reason I ask is because a lot of guys that go into MP, like prison guards, or you know that kind of work, are not afraid to fight. I'm not saying they like fighting, but they're not afraid of it. They're not afraid of conflict.
Right. So one thing I loved about the Army is combatives program that they have. Right. Before the whole combatives things came out, MPs, you know, more specifically the prison MPs, right, the cage kickers, we were called. Right.
Nice. That's awesome.
We would go into a population full of 60 to 120 inmates that's trained inmates. These are people that's trained like any one of us to kill people, basically, right? Not so much with the Air Force and the Navy. I'm just putting it out there. Hey, no offense, guys. Like I said, I was a former sailor, and I give you guys 100%, right?
Yep.
So they imagine coming into there with nothing but a radio and a little pager, right? Which it's like an alarm, personal alarm. You press that, and the whole guard force will come help you out.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I mean, I've me being a small guy, they put me in the SHU, special housing unit, you know, where we had the death row inmates, you know, people that threw grenades into the CO's tent in Kuwait. Yep. That's before the push, right? I'm pretty sure you heard of that guy.
Yeah.
And a couple other death row inmates that was in there. And all we have for ourselves is the way we talk to people and the way, you know, the unarmed self-defense techniques that we were told. Mainly it's pressure point manipulations and whatnot, right? And that's all we came in there with. And a big set of balls. And a nice uniform to actually make them fit into. Right?
Nice.
Me being a Filipino, I mean, we're kind of, I guess you could say some of us are vertically challenged.
Yeah.
Right? And
y'all are short.
Being put in.
We've seen the movies.
Yeah. But you know, we're fast. We could eat
fast,
the shit out. We could eat the shit out of rice too. I was the smallest guy in there in the guard force.
Speed beats size all day.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
All day.
And me said, okay, so I got no weapons on me, right? So I got good at talking to people.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the things they teach me. Your words could be your weapons. You know, our job is not to engage them. Our job is to de-escalate the situation.
Sure, man, because most prisoners, they're gonna, you know, a lot of those guys, they're probably short-tempered. They probably have some kind of issue that they haven't dealt with, whether it be from their childhood, their dad beat them every day. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, so they're kind of on edge anyway. And if you have your prison guards, like always defensive and on edge as well, then there's nonstop fighting. That doesn't, it doesn't work.
Right.
It doesn't work. So you guys have to be the bigger one and go, okay, yeah, I understand you're upset, but let's go over here.
Let's talk this through. What's going on? Yeah. You know, how's home? You know, you got to know how to sympathize with people, right? Just because they did something don't mean that, you know, it's like, you know, people are scared of stuff. It's like, oh, he molested this person.
Yeah.
He's going to molest me and whatnot, or someone I know. Hey, man, you're probably not his type, number one. Right. So it's
you ain't that good, okay?
You're not that hot. You're not that hot. I'm just saying, you know, and that's the thing, is that we can't go into mentality. We can't go in there saying, oh, this person might kill me because he killed this person before, right? You can't be doing that. At the same time, you got to be on guard just in case. Absolutely. Right? You got to get a good, I guess, even mentality when you come in there, right? Because we had one of the person, I'm not gonna name names, an inmate who was a SEAL in Leavenworth before. He got in trouble in the 80s and whatnot. Yeah. So he may not have killed someone that he's not supposed to. And I tell you what, he's the most respectful person, inmate in that dang facility. To the point that, you know what, I could turn my back on this guy. Yeah. You know, I could worry more about this guys, which are bigger threats to me, than this guy that's behind me, that's being respectful. You know, they're like, hey, good morning, Sarge. Always giving me the greeting of the day, always conversating with you and whatnot. And that's what we're supposed to do. Yeah. You know, we're not the judge or the jury, the reason why they're there. We're just there to make sure everything's nice and, you know, honky-dory and whatnot. Yeah, right. Right. So, and, you know, and that's one thing, the mindset you got to come up with. So in a way, you could call that psychological operations. Yeah. Right. So you got to be able to talk to people, talk them down. I've been to airsoft games where I barely shot, and I used my that knowledge and the capabilities I was trained to talk them down. Yeah. You know, something like that. So that's what I like to do. Right. And then, I did that. I was in Leavenworth for 4 years. Like I said, the good side of Leavenworth. Right, the big house. If you're in Leavenworth,
what's the craziest shit that happened while you were there?
Oh, we did a lot of forced cell move. So forced cell move, I mean, it's open source. Everything we talk about here, I'll make sure it's open source. Okay. Forced cell move is when an inmate is getting disgruntled. It's like, F this, F that. I'm gonna F you up. I'm gonna kill you. You know, stuff like that. And we have no other choice but to move in this person and pretty much not neutralize us to kill him, but neutralize the capabilities of him being able to do so. Right. Right. So we've moved on people, me being the smallest guy, right? And usually the forced cell move NCO, I'm at the very back. I put my football lineman in the front. Right. Right. So my number one guy would be in charge of the shield. Number two be in charge of arm. And the number three is the other arm. Number four is one leg and the other one in the other leg. Yeah. So there's 6 people in the team at all times. And then we got someone in the back that may have cameras for investigation purposes. Gotcha. Right. And combined, the team that we had in the shoe was about 1,200 pounds combined. Right. And you got this like 200 pounds the most. Yeah. That's trying to stop a truck. Yep. Right. It's not going to happen. No. And we've actually seen where my number one guy actually pushed into this person, pinned the inmate against the wall, lifted him up, and he's on the ceiling like a turtle, going like this.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And then let him down gently. Right. And then from that point, you know, we gotta cuff him up and shackles and whatnot, and throw him in the shower, strip him naked just to make sure you don't have any weapons on him. Yeah. And then put him on suicide watch, or, you know, whatever course of action they decide, higher ups decide that this person need. Yeah. Right. I've seen a lot of that. After I left Leavenworth, that SEAL that I mentioned earlier was killed inside the jail.
That's too bad.
Yeah. I mean, he's on his way out too. He served his time. Yeah. And he's on his way out. And then he got killed by someone else with a baseball bat, basically. Jeez. Right. And all the guard force like, what? Not him. What the hell? He's the most respectful guy we had here. That's right. Crazy. And I know. And that's some of the stuff that I've seen. No, I wasn't in Guantanamo Bay when that happened. Yeah. You know, with all the crap that happened, I was never at Guantanamo Bay. Yeah. I was never at that thing that happened in country where they stacked up inmates or prisoners naked on top of each other and take pictures with them.
Right? I didn't hear about that.
Oh yeah, you should look up Abu Ghraib prison. Okay. YouTube Abu Ghraib prison. They're pretty much reservists. I don't even remember if the actual MPs, but they were reservists that was put in charge of the prison. and they did stuff in that doesn't look good at all.
Oh, okay.
It didn't make the MP force look good at all, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I did that going up in ranks, and I ended up doing working at the provost marshal office for 4th Infantry Division in Colorado.
Oh,
so yeah, so I was there, and then eventually I said, you know what, I want to change job, because when I get out of the military, I said I want to build this well-rounded resume when I get out, right? And it so happened that the intelligence side of the house was hiring. So I said, and me going from EOD to MP, I still had the TSSCI, the high clearance level that's needed for me to switch over, right? So I did that. That's all been expired now, so you can't ask me anything at all, but I still had to sign stuff, saying, hey, I'm not going to talk about this for the rest of my life type of deal.
Yeah.
Right. But I did.
What was the EOD
I did
like? The training for that, was that exciting?
Training, so it's 70% dropout rate. So 7% attrition rate. It is the hardest, not physically. It's the hardest school in the military.
Is it the mental stress, like the fear of blowing up? Like, what is it?
Well,
cutting the blue wire instead of the red.
Oh, see, that's wrong. I'm just gonna say that.
That's
the biggest. Oh, so which they come up, they hear that I went to EOD school and whatnot. So do I cut the blue wire or the red wire and all that? I get all those questions. Yeah. And I'm like, no. But it's the weirdest school, right? Because like I say, 70% dropout rate.
Yeah.
And attrition rate. Where it's in an Air Force base run by a Navy school, attended by all services. Yes, exactly.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's wild. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then going through EOD school, I had to go through 2 phases. So there's one in Alabama, right? And then there's one the final phases in Florida for the Army. Each services got their own phases. They got the different ways to get to Florida, but Florida is where it's at, right? So we get the stress in there is the fact that they put you in challenges in there that you're like, it makes you think hard, right? And you got to know your stuff. You got to be technically savvy in that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Whereas, okay, here's a bomb. How could you render it safe? What can you do to it so it doesn't progress into the explosive chain and whatnot and what have you, right? And you're supposed to figure out a way to diffuse that or render it safe. And they have a Bible, which I'm not gonna name because it's kind of classified. Gotcha. And that's how we supposed to get guidance from that, because all the lesson learned by text on the field was put into that software.
Yeah.
So it's like lesson learned, inputted here.
Sure.
Right. And then that
from
shared
all the
to
different
what,
things that they encounter in the field.
Right. Because
you probably encountered, like, these guys over the years have probably encountered some wild stuff, like different concoctions of whatever with different wires and electronics and different ways to pressure switch and who knows what. Right.
So with the SMD, the second in charge was career long tech, EOD tech.
Okay.
Right. And he did all of that. Whereas I just went to train. Right. And he did that for all his life. So in Air Force, EODs are black shirts. Black shirts pretty much means they're like special forces type.
Sure.
So we had, I believe, EOD, I don't know what other MOSs, but if they're black shirts, they're pretty much considered special forces, right?
Man, they know their shit.
And so the Navy, they got people in there. Tell you what, the most fit people that went to EOD school was either the Navy or the Marines, right? Because we had people that's we don't know if they are not SEALs, but they got to get trained in demolitions.
Yeah.
Right. So just like EOD, there's demolitions, NCO, like for 18 series, right? There's an engineer and there's medical and whatnot.
Sure.
So it's the same thing. They got to be proficient at that particular field. right? But you see them Air Force, I'm saying the Navy always right there lifting weights and doing pull-ups. I was like, I was in the Navy for 7 years. I didn't have to do none of that stuff. So you guys must be special, you know. So and the Marines, of course, come on, dude. I mean, they do push-ups with one finger, sometimes with no hands at all, right? That's just a Marine thing.
I can do a tongue push-up. Watch
exactly.
this.
There you go. Look, no hand push-up. Yeah, you know, they do all of that, you know. But and then
people ask me all the time, what'd you do in the Marines? I'm like, a bunch of stupid stuff. Okay,
right. So and you know, and we it's very stressful and whatnot. We actually had someone do when I was going through it that actually pretty much had too much stress that he pretty much
killed himself.
Yeah, he pretty much swallowed a shotgun barrel and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And then to this day, I always remember that person. You know, it's tragic. This guy was the nicest one out of the bunch. He's always a little bit on the side by himself. But when people ask him to join in, he joins right in and whatnot. You know, every one of the Marines that goes to EOD school, they're all NCOs. Whereas the Navy, I believe, no. Whereas the Army and the Air Force will take booters of new people off the street, going to basic training, come right straight to 89 Delta series type or 89 series MOS, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we did. But you know what? It was a great challenge. It wasn't a slow progression for me because I've had challenges in there mainly because of the strip bar with 3 generations of family in it. Yeah, I think the grandma, the mom, and the daughter was all stripping right outside the base. Right outside the base. It's a little disturbing. Yeah, but we had challenges and whatnot. But the thing is, the harder, and I'm pretty sure you agree with me on this, that every military school you go to, you build bonds with people that you're suffering with.
For sure.
Right? Yeah. I mean, I got people that went.
That is the best way to build a bond.
Yeah, and that's one thing I miss. Yeah, and that's the thing I miss the most about the military.
Yeah,
it's not the shit that we did or the places we went to. It's the camaraderie we built.
Yeah,
right. Because dang well, that dude is literally gonna take a bullet for you and whatnot, right? And that's just you can never get that much bond anywhere else.
No,
right? Even what's his name was saying, I'll take a grenade for you. Bullshit, you won't. And that's the thing I miss, and that's how I want to build this team, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to build
a team. So you spent all this time in the military. Now, when was your first exposure to airsoft?
In 2005, like I said, I was in California. I was on my second term in the Navy. And then I saw, me and my brother went to not a garage sale, like where they do a swap meet in a lot, right? And then out of nowhere, I saw this thing. I was like, holy crap, that looks like an MP5. And it's like, hey, can I touch this and whatnot? And it's like, yeah, sure. It's not real. It's an airsoft. It's like, what's an airsoft, right? Yeah. And then that's one. And I was like, holy crap, this weighs just like the real thing. It functions like the real thing. Well, not really, but the cocking and whatnot and whatnot. It functions as the real thing, and and it's a 1-1 scale, and that got me curious. So I started looking and whatnot. We didn't have internet back in 2005 by then, anyways. We had emails and AOL. Just to let you guys know.
AIM, baby, AOL.
Yeah, exactly. What? Exactly. Welcome. And the whole, that's how we was in 2005, guys. Yes. Exactly. And that's when I started researching more and whatnot. And that's when I said, okay, this caught my attention. And then I saw that there's a group of people that I met. So yeah, we got a group that plays out in this big, I believe it was like 20 acres in California. And they said they play there on Sundays and whatnot. So, okay, cool. Let me look into it. And then the person that owned the gun, I believe, was the one that told me, yeah, it's our team, come join us, right? So I went there with nothing, no gun, nothing, just to see how it was. Yeah. And those people, when I got there, they went whatever they were doing, they stopped what they were doing and actually came up to me and welcomed me. Right. That's how airsoft was before.
Yeah.
Right. They welcome new people in and let them this. I was expecting to be there, watch for like 15, 20 minutes and go home. My wife back then was with me, and we ended up staying there all day, and I pretty much slept on the couch that day because I told her you're just gonna be there 15, 20 minutes.
Oh shit.
They got there, yeah.
And then they come over and welcome you. Hey man, yeah, you come on and play. We got you gun right here.
Exactly.
Get you a mask on or whatever. Let's go.
Exactly.
And you're like, okay.
Well, the last words I told her was, "I'll be back in 20 minutes."
Oh shit!
In the parking lot, about quarter mile away.
His last words,
right? Yeah, dude. Exactly. And then, and
she'd fall asleep later. In the car, like
exactly,
what the hell, bro.
We
didn't
even have a cell.
Back then. You didn't even have like smartphones to play a game on.
We had Nokias.
Yeah, but there was no games on them. Like,
we had
you couldn't play Candy Crush.
No, we had Snake. Tic-tac-toe, the little, he wasn't even colored before.
Minesweeper, some shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we had.
Yeah.
Right. And good thing she had a sister that she's close to, and I think that's how they got through the day and whatnot. But needless to say, I came back with a pissed off wife at that time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And all that. So, but I told my intent was to go in there, introduce myself, watch them play. I didn't expect them to let me here's guns. Here's your BB. Make sure we got battery in there, and we played. And from that weekend on, every weekend I was there playing with the team and whatnot until they said, all right, well, come on, welcome to the team. And then they put me in the reconnaissance team. So there's like, I believe 5 or 6 of us where we actually do all the bounding and whatnot. We go and behind enemy lines, ambush. So we're going after objective while the rest of the team were probably being base of fire support, basically. But we were bounding, and I was like, oh, this is badass.
Yeah.
Right? So I wouldn't call it mil sim because, that's just the biggest thing. Mil sim, nowadays, it's not all about SEALs and special forces and Delta Force, guys.
Yeah.
Right? People now, I think I would call a lot of people playing COD sims nowadays, Call of Duty sims.
Right.
So that's how they base military on. We're not all special forces in the military, guys.
Dude,
we got cage kickers, like we got different stuff.
Exactly. And there's a lot of cool shit you can do in the military. But there's also the other half is the support group, which sometimes ain't that cool. Okay. Yeah. And sometimes downright boring, and you don't have a cool title, and you didn't pick your job. You just got stuck in it, and that's it. And so it's funny because nowadays, like back when I went in, when I would get out or, we'd go out on leave or something like that, people, just the general public, they didn't have this idea that everyone in the military was in combat,
right.
Special forces. Oh my God, were you a sniper? Like, no.
Right.
I drove trucks. Like, nowadays everyone's like, oh, okay. Like, damn, you weren't even in the military if you weren't in combat. I'm like, dude, you don't understand how the military works. So
exactly. We got
there's
a lot of
small percentage that go to go to fight, and there's a huge support group behind them. Okay.
Exactly. Ask any Green Berets, any SEALs and whatnot. Yeah. They could not function without support folks.
Right.
That's a fact.
And I'm not trying to justify, with our jobs.
No.
It's so funny how today in today's society, there's a lot of expectation when you say, "Oh yeah, I was in the military." They're like, "Oh my God, I think they're so used to hearing a lot of these guys.
It's cringe. It is
cringe. It is cringe.
I was like, what?
Somebody asked me the other day. I forget where I was at, and somebody asked me the other day. What? It's like what I said on here earlier when we were talking, and I said, somebody asked me, "What'd you do in the military?" "Oh, you were in the Marines. What'd you do?" And I was like, "A bunch of silly stuff, man. Like for real."
We're not special forces. Let's just put it that way. I never claimed any special forces affiliation.
Yeah, like, dude.
Right?
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. At least you had a badass title. Cage kicker? What?
Yeah, that's it's awesome. But I had to get away to set of giant balls after when I reclassed. So
it's still a badass title.
Yeah, it's okay, but not too many people is willing to walk into 120 people in an enclosed room with 120 trained killers. It's a tough job, but you know what? You can't show fear once you're in there.
Yeah, right.
Because they will eat on that.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, the biggest thing that I remember out of there, the first time I went to level 2, which are like a level below death sentence inmates. I mean, that's where the most toxic people I met in my whole life. The first step inside, first thing they say, "Hey, look, it's Sergeant Charlie." So I was, off the bat, I'm a Charlie. I'm a Vietnamese then.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm not Vietnamese though. And all that. Oh, you gook, you chink.
You're a gook, chink.
I'm not Korean. I'm not Japanese.
All the shit they said in Full Metal Jacket. Okay.
They do that because you know what? They got nothing to lose.
No. Well, I was going to say, I would imagine if I had to guess, guys on death row, I feel like maybe some of them, or, a good portion of them would be like rethinking some of their life, or maybe come to God, come to Jesus moments, kind of thing. So maybe they'd be calm.
I would say yes to about 90-95% of them. And then the other 5%, if they end up killing a guard, they're just going to lengthen their life.
They're desperate.
They got to do the whole, because they got to go through the whole process again.
Whoa.
If you think about it.
So it's like desperation. So they're just like, okay, how can
they're prolonging their life. They kill someone else.
Oh,
if you think about it. Yeah. See, a lot of people don't see that.
That's kind of backwards.
Isn't it?
Like your death sentence should get, like if you had 5 years for your death sentence to come through, it should be shortened by half, like 2.5 years if you kill somebody, not lengthened because of legal stuff.
Brother, we've had inmates in there that's been there since the 80s on death sentence.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Lord.
80s and 90s. At that time, when I was still there.
Jesus help us. Okay, I don't know.
And because number one, the last time we actually served a death sentence to someone, actually pretty much off them, was way back in I would like to say 40s or 50s. And ever since then, the military has the capability. Leavenworth has the capability of actually performing the procedures and whatnot, but we choose not to. So what we do, we just transfer them to Terre Haute, Indiana, and they do the rest of the stuff. And that is after they serve the whole time in the military, the sentence.
Yeah.
And then we federally transfer them to Terre Haute, Indiana for the actual execution.
Wow.
Even though we do have the bed and the capabilities to do such things, right? But we're like, we could just transform, because after a certain time, once you receive your DD-214 in military, whether in good terms or in bad terms, you're pretty much a civilian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
And that's how everything that's how everything was performed back then.
Huh.
But there are times where I myself would go into the death sentence tier. At that time we had 6 people that's in there.
Yeah.
And sorry about that. My wife is coming home, and the dog's like, "Oh, mom's here."
Yeah, that's fine, man.
It turns to Jumanji over here. The birds start making noise.
Yeah, the birds. How many birds? So what do you
I had 2.
How many dogs you got? How many pets you got?
I got 2 French bulldogs and a 13-year-old Chihuahua, and we got 2 conures. They're like miniature parrots, basically. They're parakeets.
Yeah.
And that's all we had. But before, we had 8 free roaming guinea pigs in the yard. Yeah, not wanting to leave and whatnot. They just go there and multiply. We started with 2.
They would stay in the yard. They wouldn't you didn't have you didn't have to box them in or nothing.
No.
What?
They've gotten wild, and they're just right there multiply, hiding under because before I had a tour bus company, and I would have at least a bus right there. They just hide under there and just chill, But we had a cat that moved in somewhere. So I said, you know what, let's go round up the guinea pigs. And we ended up getting all 8 of them, and we took him to a petting zoo next town over.
So the cat would kill him, right?
Oh, yeah. He took out the mom and the dad, the original two that we had.
Okay.
And I said, you know what? Let's just hand them over to them. And then we had uh two extra wild birds, the green one. They looks like parrot, but they actually speak. They're capable of it, but we probably got the dumbest of the bunch. Of course, all they do is
would they mumble?
All they do is I was like rah, 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 makes mad noises and whatnot, and that's it, But and we ended up, we took them in because they were taken by someone because they were injured and whatnot. And after they took care of them, that's when they let other people adopt them, and we adopted them. And my wife, such a great heart, she don't believe in cages.
Yeah.
Right. So those cages are back there because they like sleeping inside there.
Yeah.
Right. And so
they just leave the door open or something, and they just can come and go.
This too that's left for us is not going anywhere. We'd go outside, we go to the mall, we go do places, and they won't leave our shoulder. Right.
That's so cool, right? Though, man.
They're like kids you're trying to get rid of. Right.
They're like, hell no, 18 man. It's too good. Exactly. We know what we got.
Exactly. And then that's those two, they won't leave. The other two, when we saw that they're well enough, they could fly with no problem. We left the window open. It's like, hey, be married, go fly, be married, be a free. Wild bird like how you were born as.
Yeah.
Right. So we made sure that they're in good shape and whatnot. So we decided, yep, go ahead and go. Give freedom. We're not here to take away your freedom. Go.
Dude, I love that, man. I love to hear that because I got to be honest, man. Like, I'm an animal lover, but my wife and both my wife and I are, and we love animals and nature and all that kind of stuff. And like, we respect what God made. Okay. Like, and how it's made. So, and animals are supposed to be free, right?
Right.
Dogs, cat, like what you guys believe in, like let them be free, no cages. Yep. And it's really sad down here in South Carolina. Is such a culture of, we love dogs. They have, a lot of people have a lot of dogs, and they'll keep them in the house, like locked in the house, in a cage in their house, not just in the house, like a big dog. Okay. Pit bulls are real popular down here, and pit bulls get very big. I mean, they're not tall, but they're meaty, right? They're beefy. Okay.
Right.
And I'm not saying, they don't need to go run like a football field or nothing, but they need to get out and stretch sometimes. Like they need some space. Okay.
Right.
So they like patrolling. Right. Just like on guard duty. Okay. Like they want to walk along.
That's what they do, in nature.
Absolutely.
That's what they're supposed to do.
They want to walk their territory. Okay.
Right.
And these guys, a lot of these people get these pit bulls, and hey there. Hey. They get these pit bulls, and they lock them in a cage in their house, like in the corner, right? Like back in the corner of the living room or something like that.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, and the cage would be, how your gate right there would be like that tall. Maybe like a 4x4x4. Okay.
Right.
Cage for this one dog. And I'm like, dude, it's so sad to me. It makes me sad because I'm like, you don't actually love dogs. And they're like, yeah, we love dogs. Look, we have dogs. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't take them on walks. You don't take them out of the cage. You yell at them all the time. Anytime you let them out of the cage, you let them go to the bathroom outside, and then you stick them back in the cage because you don't want them on your couch and you don't want them over here.
You like the idea of having a dog.
Exactly.
But not the responsibilities, that goes with it. I think that's the best way to put it.
So many people down here have that, dude. And it really irritates me because I'm like, you don't love animals. You don't love your dog. You're doing animal abuse or whatever. Like, and so anyway, it's dude, I get,
you can't.
I see it so much that I get really kind of bothered by it. Honestly.
See, the thing is that went up when the pandemic happened. People wanted someone to accompany them, right? Someone wants to, someone they could be in with, right?
Yep.
And then after the pandemic happened, they're like, okay, I don't really need
now you're a nuisance. Okay.
Right. Now I just gotta keep you alive.
People come over here, people get to know us, we'll come, they have a party or something like that. And they come, oh, you don't have any pets? Like, do you have dogs? Like, no, we don't have dogs. They think we don't like, I'm like, no, I love dogs more than you, bro. Like, at least I would take care of it if I did.
Right, right. And then there's, you know what,
Let it
and that's
roam.
what it's a commitment. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing that people like back in pandemic days, they just wanted to have something, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But it's a lifelong commitment for the dog, because you know what, you have that one dog for that one time throughout their life, but that dog only has you for their life. You got to
Right.
think about that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's why I say to people, you know, there's a lot more to it than just having something around to make you feel better.
Yeah. Right.
Right. You're jumping into a commitment like having kids, right? You got to keep them safe and healthy for 18 years, or you go to jail. You know,
Right.
being an old school guy, I was kicked
Yeah.
out of the house at 18, and my dad told me, go be an adult, learn to be an
Yes.
adult. Right. And that's what we're pretty much trying to teach the kids, our kids. It's like, you know what? We'll let you, you know, become an adult. You know, we'll set you free and we watch you fall, but we'll be there the minute you hit the ground.
Exactly.
But they got to learn how to make mistakes, how to fail.
Falling is a part of life. It's a part of growing. It's a part, but we're there to help you get back up and learn and dust you off. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. You're skinny. I know it hurts, but calm down. It's fine. You don't have to scream your head off. Right. Just look at it. It's okay. And then keep walking or get back on your bike or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. So what, you know, learn something from that. And guess what? You're not going to do it now. Next time it happens, right? You know what to do and whatnot. So we're teaching them something, you know, and we're not, you know, that's the biggest thing is like, we're not being a-holes as parents.
Right.
We're raising you how we were raised, and we came out okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's all out of love. And the thing is, a lot of people today, a lot of parents today don't know what tough love is. They think that love is, is only one-sided. Like, oh, love is always nice. No, it's not. Love is, hey, I got to teach you, and the only way you can learn is this. Okay. And that's just how it is.
Well, the biggest thing that I think affected how people are being raised is generation that I see it. I've seen it, the generations changes where I would never expect my kids to, you know, be careful around my kids. No, teacher, you're wrong. The kid is right. Right. Oh. The biggest thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The biggest thing is a certain organization telling you you're not so supposed to spank your kids or you're going to jail, or we take away your kids if you do that to your kids. You know, that one organization that does that. And then we're like, well, holy hell. Now what we're going to do as parents. So we're learning as we go on also.
Right.
Right. Because someone telling us, oh, you can spank your kids and whatnot. Right. Because I tell you what, when I was 5 years old, my mom gave us tough love, right? In the Philippines.
Yeah.
Right. We don't have nice soft slippers and whatnot. They had wooden shoes.
Really?
In there. Oh yeah. You ever been, imagine what a wooden shoe would feel like when it hits you when you're 5 years old from 10 feet across the room.
Right.
you learn quick, but you learn really quick.
Well, my mom's Italian, and she's a short little Italian lady, and they were always cooking. My mom was always cooking like home cooked meals and Italian food. You know, she would cook, from scratch. So it would take all day. She always had a wooden spoon in her hand. So it's very similar. She wouldn't throw it. She would smack the shit out of us with it. Okay. So yeah, we learned,
imagine that, soaked in with tomato sauce.
You're like, you get smacked in the back. You're like, hold on. Oh, that's good. What?
That some of them stays longer than that tattoo, brother. I'm just saying. But you know what? It leaves a mark here and leaves a mark here. Not to piss off mom when she's cooking something with tomato sauce.
That's right.
But it's all part of that. So going back to airsoft, right? Got a little too deep into it's good conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
If we got beer right now, we'll be drunk in another 30 minutes here. The biggest changes I've seen in regards to airsoft is that two things. Toxicity is a lot more rampant nowadays, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot more, like I said, the common sense and whatnot, not working anymore, or one person can influence a whole group of people to think the way he wants them to think, right?
Do you think it's the younger generation is like what we're talking about, like the tough love thing, like kind of how they're brought up, or like a cultural or societal thing or whatever? And then,
I think it's
or
a
also,
little bit of all.
do you think it's the GoPro, like the like the social media video everything atmosphere where I just
Right,
want to get some clicks and views,
right,
so I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna act like this on the field and
right.
record it? I mean, or
Well,
what do you think?
so there's two biggest generations, right? Back then, me back in, since starting 2005 and to this day, we like to take pictures of us as a group,
Right.
right? We don't play for the gram, which is what's going on right now. It's like, hey, take a picture of me while I shoot this guy, right? I gotta post this, right? It's my image. Come on, or let me post with night visions at noon, right? And this is milsim, by the way. It's milsim, right? Being and that's why I'm the biggest critic of milsim, right?
Yeah.
I love that they're doing it, but we're trying to when you try to influence me on how you think military simulation is like, it's like judging how my thing. I don't go to your workplace, and tell you, hey, do it this way because it's cooler this way. Do it that way, right? That's not how we did it in the military.
Yeah.
And people say, no, I'm being too rude because I was in the military and they were not and whatnot. It's like, no, but you're emulating what we did.
Yeah.
So it kind of way offensive maybe for us to actually did it, but it's just, I got I guess someone said I'm what do you call that? Oh, I'm a stolen valor guy.
Oh.
Yeah, because
they told you that?
Yeah, he said, someone supposedly have combat experience, and that. Hold on.
Oh Lord Jesus!
I'm just gonna show this.
So that's what for anyone listening, what he's holding up a certificate that is. I love that frame, by the way. It looks awesome. But it says the United States of America. I can't read fine print, but it's the Bronze Star Medal, bro.
So this was given.
You got a Bronze Star?
Yeah, and MSM, military service medal. I'm sorry, and that is only given to people that's pretty much you can't get that being a fobbit.
How did you get the Bronze Star?
It was a big story.
Just in general.
It was story. It's something that happened in Iraq, and that's it. That's all I can tell you. Where it's gone above and beyond, outside the wire. So I was not a fobbit in Iraq. Let's just put it that way. So
that is awesome, bro. I think you are the first one on here that's had that kind of medal.
I'm not trying to brag. I'm not trying to brag.
I know you're not. And I'm not trying to make it like I'm not trying to make it this huge thing.
Right.
But no, I mean, as one veteran to another, much respect, my friend.
Oh, of course. Likewise, it's unspoken respect that veterans has to each other. You already know that, right? Because we could actually.
No, I'm glad you showed me that. No, that's cool.
No, I don't want to. I'm not trying to brag. It's just
I know you're not. No, but when you get called all this shit at
they said,
Airsoft,
he's claiming,
dude,
my license plates that's issued by the city and county of Hawaii says combat veteran
here
on there.
On the opposite end of that, okay, from you getting called stolen valor with Airsoft. I've never played Airsoft. I played paintball, right? And the reason I started this, you probably heard already this story, okay? And everyone else that's listening to this podcast has already heard how I started this podcast, so and how I started the YouTube channel. But it was I've had people that I've invited on here to be a guest on the podcast that turned it down because they were snubbing their nose at me because I never played Airsoft. And they were there was two people, two separate, they weren't connected, but and they weren't veterans, military veterans. And I was going, what? So anyway, when you show me this, your Bronze Star, and then somebody's calling you stolen valor, and I'm like, it's very similar to I'm on the opposite end where I'm a military veteran. I host a podcast, and actually I have on my bio, one of my bios on my socials, it says I host a Airsoft podcast, but I've never played Airsoft. So
quick, if you don't mind me, did Joe Rogan play? Did he do MMAs and whatnot?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying. You know, it's like
every guest he has on, he didn't do that field.
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't have to
with it,
right? And yeah, so it's a funny thing, and it doesn't happen all the time. And I'm sure that didn't happen to you very much, very much or very often.
First time it happened, actually.
Yeah.
And then someone said, yeah, I'm bullshitting about my PTSD. You want me to pull out my freaking VA thing?
Yeah.
Right. It happens. It happens. And certain things will bring that back. Not every day you're going to have something happen.
No.
But certain situations will ignite something. That's the biggest thing. Right. If I could pull out my DD-214, I'll have it on the screen right now. Right. And so I got everything, VA records, everything that backs me up. But you know what? I'm also the type that want to separate my personal life with Airsoft life.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
But me showing that award, that's kind of breaking the barrier between the two, but also in a way to dispel what I've been accused with, baseless accusations. Right. And that's like I said, that's another biggest thing that I have. But I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go for it. But I appreciate the time.
Absolutely. You were going on. This is you're good. I'm totally good. Okay. You're not cutting me off. I want my guests to talk more than I do. So I want to hear your story.
Brother, I could talk forever.
Yeah, that's good.
But unfortunately, I got to sleep here in a few hours. So
well, what I was going to ask you about your how did you find out about the podcast? Because you reached out to me through my website, like you filled out the form. Did you find out about me from Milsim, Hawaii?
From Bailey. You had Bailey here before.
Bailey's the
shit. Bailey is the man. Before when I first met him, it was me, the CSM for SMD.
Okay.
And Bailey had a meeting and we talked about, hey, we need to bring back Airsoft to Hawaii. Not specifically Milsim, but Airsoft to Hawaii. We need to bring that in because you know what? It's nothing but Speedsoft over here. I got nothing against Speedsoft, by the way. I do not have anything against.
How dare you?
You do you.
Don't talk about Speedsoft.
But they got actually a faction of our team is actually in the Philippines, and they do nothing but Speedsoft.
Okay.
Right. So that's the thing I could tell you about my team, this team, which we'll talk more in details about later. Is that we are from over a dozen different states. Right. It's a nationwide, and plus having people in the Philippines makes us an international airsoft company.
What's your team?
Right.
What's your team name?
It's Special Missions Detachment.
Yeah.
So basically, we're not I guess contractor based or PMC based.
Right. I want to share your Instagram page if that's all right.
Oh, look at the crotch shot. Look at the crotch shot. So that is something that if you could play the video, that is something that we're planning to do. It's actually a video of remember I told you about second in command. He was an EOD tech.
Yeah.
So that's something that we are planning hopefully in the near future here. Pretty much water insertions.
Yeah.
Where people jump from a helicopter into the water.
Mm-hmm.
And then Charlie Mike from there. Right. That's something we're trying to put in a training plan here shortly.
Right,
that's actually a company run by 4 retired Navy SEALs here in Hawaii. And and our second in command was in there saying, all right, whenever we need people, we'll go get you guys on there, which is pretty cool.
That is cool as hell. Let's watch this thing.
Yeah.
This is cool as hell.
SEALs. Checking equipment.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, you gotta trust that guy, right?
Oh yeah.
Checking all your stuff.
That guy may or may not be a SEAL.
You know what he looks like? He looks like the awful Jack Parr.
He does, don't he?
Yeah, he does. With those glasses on. But you know what's wild to me is they can stand on this skid. Not worry about the rope like it's.
I won't be scared of that. I'm Filipino, so I'm low profile.
You're low profile.
Boom.
Dude, that's badass. That is awesome.
So
what is this? So
awesome! I love it.
So
okay.
So yeah,
that was fun.
What are you guys doing now? Is this part of what you guys want to do with your team?
With a training plan that we have. So we have people, like as I mentioned earlier, we got the team is spread out to 12 different states currently. So we're always expanding. And one thing they came up with is we all gonna be training on something, because the concept of the team was pretty much having to go to a different place and once you get there, you already got a team waiting for you. Right? So we want them to be trained as much as you were trained. So when you hit the ground running, you can operate as a team with no problem, because you both know what each other's going to be doing.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's the concept of the whole team. Right. So we all got our team has a training officer. That's a detective over in Louisiana. Right. We got law enforcement. We got military veterans. So we got different walks of life that's within the team. Right. We had a retired lieutenant colonel from Philippines that's in the Philippine faction. He's actually the deputy for the team. So cool. That training officer, he said he's gonna be probably putting in like a training video once a month, and you get the rest of the month to pretty much get smart on it. Right? Get to know what you need to do and operate as a team.
Yeah.
Right. So let's say when you're securing a room, or doing an L-type ambush, reacting to contact.
Yeah.
You being a team member would know how to interact with your other teammates on how to pretty much conduct a mission and whatnot.
Yeah.
So that's the whole idea of it, and that's why we came up with this training plan that everyone is going to be watching that video that our training officer have put together. And you guys they're supposed to train internal within their faction in that state or city to pretty much get on par with all the other factions from around, United States and the Philippines, basically. Yeah. And we've been getting a lot of requests to bring out factions from different countries. We got approached from India and Pakistan.
What?
I was like, you guys got airsoft in Pakistan? I thought you guys shoot real shit over there. Yeah. Yep. And I actually looked, and sure enough, there was
that's amazing,
airsoft in Pakistan. And no, we did not do it. We're not opening up a faction in India or Pakistan, or it's just not of the great interest, the impact wise as a group to benefit from that, because there's some
Pakistan I can understand.
yeah.
India, so, I'm curious. I'm really curious about India, though.
It's a very, very, very small fraction that actually does airsoft in India, and I was
which is weird because, well, I guess it's not that weird, but I'm looking at numbers, right? So
right.
India has a lot of people.
I think
like a lot of
them people. And the Chinese compose the majority of the world.
Statistically, you would think. Because India is not like really, really super strict with their, with their government control.
Right.
So China, I understand, like they're locked down, babe. Basically, they're locked down. Like, so I understand airsoft, like not being a thing or whatever, but India, like just statistically, there's got to be. I mean, even if it's 10% of the people that are curious about it. Like the internet's out, okay? Like they can look up shit. So like, oh, what is this airsoft thing? I mean, Kicking Mustang, one of the most popular,
James is awesome. I love James.
James is awesome, dude. He's been on the podcast a couple times.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate what he's doing for he does a really good job at what he does.
And people are hating him for it.
Yeah, and well, people, you're always going to have that group of people that hate somebody for their passion, because the crabs in the bucket, right? You never heard that story? Okay, so
yeah, that's one thing I said about players nowadays falls into the crab mentality.
It is.
Yep.
They want to pull you down.
But yeah, he's good. He's good. And the thing about people that don't know about James is just like you and me. I played around with editing softwares. Being Final Cut or Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
I can make it to where all my shots is hitting someone dead on their head.
Right.
Between the eye. I can make it. All I got to do is zoom in, crop out, boom.
Yeah.
And guess what? One of every 20 people I shot hit him in the head, even if I wasn't aiming for their head. Because once that BB leaves the barrel, who knows where it's going to go?
Branch over here.
Exactly.
The wind over there.
Right. Now, the thing is that James is so good at this. Yeah. He made it look like he's actually aiming for people on the head and hitting them.
Yeah.
And that sparked up a lot of hate.
Oh, dude.
I've turned to James, I PM'd him and whatnot. And I was like, what's all this? Like, it's just a small population. I'm not worried about him. He's a good dude. I like James. I got no problem with him at all. So there's only two people I interact with and respect the most in the Airsoft influencer population. One of them, that, and of course, Alphonse. Alphonse had come to Hawaii to play Airsoft here a couple of times, right? He's a good dude, and I respect them and their the way they present their channel.
Yeah.
Right. Because and that's just, it's respectable the way they do it. And then of course you're gonna have the haters. Not so much on Alphonse, but on Kicking Mustang. Like I was like, hey, how it'd be cool if Mustang would come to Hawaii, right? People reaction here. That's like, why? So you could headshot people? I was like, have you played with James? Because I haven't personally played with James.
Yeah.
Right? How are you gonna judge someone because what other people thinks of him?
Yeah.
Right. It's just irrational thinking. And that's where the crab mentality kicks in and the toxicity within the sport is rampant.
James is good at playing into like stirring stirring the pot.
Yeah.
He likes playing into the shit talking stuff because he doesn't do the shit talking. He just plays into it. So the thumbnails he does and the videos he does, and he flat out tells you, like, this is what I love about him. One of the biggest things I love about him is he's brutally honest. So even in his videos, he's like, in the very beginning when he's doing the narration, he's like, this guy right here, I'm gonna use it. No, that's an Australian accent. Sorry, James, I can't do a UK accent.
You're racist.
Like, this guy right here, I'm gonna use him later as clickbait. And I'm like, dude, I love that shit because he doesn't do it to good people. He does it to the freaking whiners and the guys that are not going to call their hits anyway.
Yeah.
Because there's early on too, years ago, if you look at his older videos, he would shoot people in the chest 2 times.
Yeah.
They wouldn't call it. They'd flinch.
Exactly.
And they wouldn't call it.
Exactly.
He started shooting them in the head, shooting them in the face. And then they call it because it's almost like a reactionary thing. They're like, oh, and then they rub their face like, oh shit, that hurt. And I'm like, dude, I would definitely start shooting them in the face first because these guys don't call their hits.
Yeah.
If you shoot them anywhere else.
and you know what? I got my solution to that, right? I'm an old guy, older. I just might not look like it because of rise in genetics, right? But I'm getting close to 50, right? My solution to that, because me being old and whatnot, I tend to just snipe, right? Well, I don't have to move much, right?
You don't want to run and gun anymore. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a proud camper. Let's just put it that way, right? My thing is I avoid, and people I play with here knows that I avoid headshots at all cost, right? So I aim for the chest and whatnot. And then if they don't call it, that's when they might get a new zit on their face, right? Because I avoid that. Because you know what? Airsoft had come a long ways. And with the stuff that we got now, it can make your rifle accurate to about 100, 150 meters. right, with your sniper without violating the joules and the
Right.
FPS limits.
Isn't that
right?
wild?
I know. So
You can,
with the
these
sniper
guns now
rifle,
can hop.
yeah.
They can
Well, see,
hop
that's the
a
problem.
4.8
Uh-huh.
BB for
Yeah,
a long freaking way.
exactly. And that's why, that's the biggest thing that people don't get about airsoft is you want to shoot far and more accurate, go use heavy ass BBs.
Yeah.
People that knows Alphonse, he used 4.0s for all his sauce, right? And he says that
What?
he tells you that too. It's like I use 4.0s, right?
Oh,
And
that's
what
awesome.
he stayed at my place for 2 weeks last time he came over to Hawaii.
No shit.
And
okay.
and yeah, he's a cool dude. Like I said, I'm here. I don't mind. You can come to Hawaii, visit, bring your family, and I got a room downstairs with a king size bed for you.
I'm on my way.
Hey, no balls. How's that, Marine? I'm open to that. We welcome people here. It's come with there's this thing called aloha spirit in Hawaii, where if we got it, why not share it, right? If you're blessed with it, why not share the blessing, right? And that's the mentality we had here in Hawaii. Why pay? Because you come to Hawaii, you spend about 5 to 10 grand for a week stay at a hotel in Hawaii.
Right.
That's a fact, right? Where you can come over to my place, stay down there, clean up after your shit, and clean up after my dog shit. Because this is a funny thing about Alphonse. We stayed here last, and I was like, to this day, we're still cracking up about it. He stayed in there. I told him, hey man, this your place, this your room. There's a king size bed. Enjoy it. Keep the doors closed because the dogs likes to jump on the bed or do this, right? And my wife just put a new sheet, new comforter and whatnot to it, right? Keep your door closed because, just in case. So keep the dogs from coming in here because, they like king size beds, right? And he left the door open one time and I don't know what he did. I think he went to one of the vendors here to visit him or that. And he came back. I heard him cry, hey, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up? He went to his room. And the next thing you know, I hear footsteps coming, boom, 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 up. I was like, oh, what's up, bro? Hey, man, I got a little problem. I was like, wow, what's wrong? Then he brought up his Apple laptop, and in the middle is my dog shit, right in the middle,
oh shit,
covering his Apple logo on his laptop. And
bro, I am so proud of that dog.
Yes. Yeah, no, but and then I feel so bad, bro. It's like I clean it up right away. It's like, and then the next thing I ask him is, "Did you close your door?" It's like, I guess I didn't. I was like, "Well, there you go, bud. I'm sorry, but you've been warned."
I told you.
But it's gonna be something that me and him gonna be remembering for forever. It's like, hey, my dog shit on Airsoft Alphonse's laptop, where he made this show, this episode.
Your dog was smart, okay? He shit on the Apple laptop.
Ooh, that hurts. I'm not an Apple guy. It just happened to be we end up in an Apple thing because it's so
how
easy.
It is. I'm joking. It's
I know
that whole thing with there's always a rivalry somewhere. Whether it's the airsoft or paintball, right? Xbox or PlayStation, PC gaming or console, I guess,
Android.
Android
Mac
or Apple, it's always
PS4 or other Xbox, stuff like that happens all the time. But it's we just happen to have a lot of Apple products. It's just we just got it all over the place.
My wife. Actually, let's see. My wife and I have 5 kids. They're all in their 20s.
Oh wow, you must be tired.
We all of them have Apple phone, like iPhones,
right?
Apple products, whatever, except for me and 2 of my sons. So so it's always a joke, even in the family. Like it's always a joke, like, hey, can you send me these? Just airdrop me these photos. I'm like, fuck you. I don't have airdrop. Okay.
Or FaceTime me. Stuff like that. You're like,
Oh, dude, for real.
Yeah. But it's okay. It's part of the whole, I guess, franchises and the whole company thing. You're either an iOS user, Mac user, or you're an Android person, whatnot.
Yeah.
They're always gonna have 2 sides to everything. So
for sure.
But it's fun. It's just you can't crosstalk and whatnot between the two platforms.
I know,
and that's
right?
the biggest thing that people forget sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I wish. Like Androids, the texting, they need to figure out what Apple did with their texting program software because it's fucking awesome. It really is. Like you can send videos, you can't send videos through text on Androids, like for a certain size. Like it's got size limits. And then if you it's just the texting
and then
program.
That's the two operating systems.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So and that's how we were able to do this Skype. Well, what happened to this? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. That's how we're able to do the Zoom between your PC and my Mac.
Yeah.
Right. And that's
right. Because there's a middleman. There's a piece of software that connects each of them that doesn't care about whatever, those two sides. It just cares about connecting them through that, which is awesome. And I love technology that way.
Yeah. See, I'm like doing the podcast, and on the side, I'm forever doing something, right?
Me too.
I'm looking at that team Discord, and my our CSM is here saying, "Hey, man, where's the link? I want to join in," something like that.
Oh yeah.
So I might see if he could join in here. Send him the link that you sent me.
So go into how did you meet your wife? Like you came over from the Philippines when you were how old?
14. I was 14.
Oh, okay.
Back then. So
do you
people
still have
do the
friends in the Philippines that you like childhood friends that you know?
I got cousins and cousins, aunts, and uncle, and that's still all over the place. I got a brother and sister that's there, half brother, half sister that's there that I interact with. Actually, my brother is a team member for SMD in Philippines. So
nice.
And then came here 14, went to school, got kicked out a couple of schools and whatnot because
for what?
Bad attitude, basically. Yeah.
I told you, fucking prison guards, bro. They love fighting.
I got kicked out of a continuation school. I don't know if you know what continuation school is. That's when they send all the people that can adjust to regular high school. So they put them in there. I got kicked out of that. I got my high school diploma, my GED, through an adult school. That's how bad it was. And I only got that because the military requires a diploma to join. So, and I was like,
that's the only
I guess
reason
I'll be
I
an adult.
went to night school to get my extra credit before because I got expelled from school. So it happens. I missed out. Yeah,
it happens. I mean, I almost had a race war going between two races because one of them thinks I'm the other. I'm the other race, and the other one thinks I'm the other race.
Oh Lord!
I was like, what? I'm like stuck in the middle. And to the point that, each side ended up having a gang war in front of me, in front of the school. And I'm just right there. Hope I didn't start this.
Oh, my God.
Just watching them, and it's cool because,
what other race would you be confused with? Chinese?
Chinese, I've been confused with Hispanic.
Because,
Filipinos are basically like, we were influenced by Spain. Or was taken over by Spain back in a couple of 100 years ago. And Spain was there for like 200, 300 years, I believe. So, and that's why, my last name got that N with a tail on the top, with a tilde on top. Which you see on all like Hispanic heritage last names and whatnot.
Right.
So, and I've been mistaken for that. Like I said, the inmates in Leavenworth thought I was apparently Vietnamese, Japanese, or Korean by the derogatory terms they used on me. But I've been mistaken a lot of things. But you know what? I don't care. At the end of the day,
man. I mean,
I'm my own man.
It's fine.
Exactly. But you know what? I'm an American. They asked me, what are you? I was like, I'm an American, number one.
I love that.
About my heritage background. I guess my family's from Philippines, originated from Philippines. And that's what I do. It's like, oh, okay. But you're not American. I was like, yeah, I'm American. You want to see my green card? You want to see my citizenship certificate?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I guess what they're talking about is like, oh, you're not born in America. So what?
Yeah. But not everyone born in America looks like everyone.
What? No, like
Exactly.
this thing was like, no,
yeah.
No.
And that's why I was like,
everyone's an immigrant here.
The thing is that everyone in America is an immigrant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless you're Native American.
Yeah, Native American. My mom or my dad's mom is a Crow Indian. Or she was. She passed away a long time ago. But she's Crow Indian. So the American Indians, that's it. Those are the only ones that were originally here, right? Like the American Indians, Native Americans. Yep.
Right. So and let's I've went to that being a minority in the military.
Sure.
I've and being a Filipino, we're like the minority of the minorities. Except in the Navy though. Except in the Navy. Where majority of the people, sailors, are navies in supply somewhere.
Yeah.
And then joining the Army is like, there's a very small percentage of us that's in the military. But in Facebook, we came up with, the Filipino Americans of the United States Navy, a group of us, right?
Yeah.
And next thing in the Army, we got over 5,500 members in there. Filipino with a Filipino background. We even got a 2-star general that's in there. And we had, there's at least 2 generals in there and some CSMs and whatnot. And, we created that as a mentorship for all the soldiers and whatnot that's facing through, the challenges and whatnot. We're like, it's a mentoring page.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I'm surprised that there's that many Filipinos in there.
I love that. I love that there, all these different cultures. There's a good balance between, and there is a balance that people have to have as they grow up to be able to be proud of their heritage, their cultural heritage, like where their nationality or whatever comes from, whatever. Like my mom is Italian, my dad was Norwegian, like as far as his last name kind of, he didn't grow up there, but somewhere in his family tree is where that descended from. So I mean, it's okay to be proud of that, like where you came from, wrong where with your that. Family. No. Yeah,
but you know what? In my heart, I'm an American.
Exactly.
It's just the way I serve the country, even though I was not born in it. It's the pride that I got myself.
Can you imagine being in a country where everyone in the country was born in that country? All the kids are like, everyone around you was the same race and ethnicity and background and like, dude, it would be boring as shit.
Oh, you mean like North Korea? I think I could pretty much look everywhere, and I could see how it's like. And you know what?
Yeah, like work. North Korea.
It doesn't work. It doesn't work because just like everything else, it's part of progression, right? There's this saying that I always tell people when I need to say it. It's like, you can't expect progress if you don't give change a chance.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the biggest thing. People need to realize that you can't expect to progress if you're gonna keep on your old ways, old habits. Right. So you got to be open to changes to happen in order for everything to progress. That's how they are. Number one, with the things that we're faced in the US, the racism and all that stuff.
Sure.
Right. Back in the days, we already know, all the African Americans brought in as slaves back in the days and whatnot. But guess what? Everyone got the equal rights now. That's the changes that we've had, and that's how the society in the US had progressed.
Yeah, right.
But now it's like the progress is kind of splitting up again. Let's not get into politics, though.
But that's by design. That's by design. Yeah. Like so slavery hasn't been a thing for a very long time. Most people know that. Like if you go, like I live in South Carolina, there's a huge percentage of South Carolina population that is black. Tons of blacks down here.
Right. Okay? Yeah.
So it is, and I'm gonna tell you, if you turn off your phone, or let's say don't look at social media, and you just go and live your life for a week.
Yeah.
So you go to the store, you go to the gas station, you go to work, you go, wherever, right? All these different places you go outside of your home where you interact with people on the daily. People are black, white, whatever. They're polite, they're nice, good manners. They'll hold the door for you. Doesn't matter if you're a man or woman. Okay. Doesn't matter if you're in a dress or in a fucking Halloween costume. Doesn't matter. They'll hold the door for you when you're walking in, and nobody will get offended. This is
common courtesy.
It really is common courtesy. Okay.
Not too common again. Once again, not too common. But Erik, if you don't mind, I'd like to put a quick pause. Give me a couple of minutes. I just sold one of my guns to someone from Hawaii. If you could give me like 2 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So that's a segue, guys. If Erik want to make this to a 2-part series, stand by for the continuation.
Oh, no.
The second part.
We'll make this. I'll just cut this out.
Okay. So a couple of minutes, and I'll be right back. All right, bud.
Absolutely.
You don't have to film you pissing. Please don't.
Hold on. Let me carry my camera with me.
All right. See you.
All right, brother.
Yeah. So I just sold one of my. Oh, welcome back, folks. It brings me back to the whole YouTube thing, you know. When
right.
Like, hey, welcome back, folks. Don't forget to comment, like, or subscribe. Stuff like that.
Yeah, subscribe, hit the like button, all that good shit.
Yeah, come on, guys. Yeah, I mean, next time we should be doing this with a group of people on here, with like just drinking, because this could go on forever, and whatnot.
I would love to meet some of your guys on your team. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Dude,
that's what we'll do the next time.
I tried to, but I forgot the time difference now, because we got people from Hawaii right now, and then we got +6 all the way in Georgia, Florida area, and Maine, and then Philippines is +18 hours. So, the time difference is kind of, and the fact that it's a weekday.
18, okay, yeah, we'll have to figure that out one day. Yeah, we could do it. We could do it. Yeah. We'll do. So the next time we do, because I always have somebody on for, almost always. Usually I have somebody on for a second time, and but we've had group podcasts on here with 4 different time zones. So like UK are I'm in the East Coast. Yeah. So the UK is 6 or 5 or 6 hours ahead of us, depending on what time of year it is. For us in America with the daylight savings time thing, and then you guys are behind us, and let's see, California is 3 hours behind me, that kind of thing. So we've done it. It is difficult. It has, planning, and then making sure everyone stays on point, right? Like doesn't cancel the last minute because they got a sniffle,
Yeah, and that's why I was like a little, because I know how technical difficulties could happen, and that's why I asked earlier, do I have time to check my AV, my audio video?
Yeah,
I
right.
mean, how am I gonna sound? Do I sound like a little kid right now? Stuff like that. So
you do, but it's okay. Everyone,
hey, listen, man, don't just rice and genetics makes you look young, guys.
He looks young. His voice sounds young. Okay.
I'm 49, so just putting it out there.
I'm 53. I'm going to be 54.
You don't look a day past 52, brother.
I'm going to be 54 in exactly 6 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. So. Well, advance happy birthday if I don't talk to you before then.
Man. Thank you.
But yeah. So let's go back to what we were talking about.
Well, the last question I asked you was, coming over from the Philippines, you were 14, and then how did you meet your wife? And how did that go?
Okay, so I met my wife while I was actually doing a vlog in Waikiki, for my YouTube channel before she came into my life. Right, I was having a lot of destination vlogs for people that's coming to Hawaii, a little guide of things to do, places to go,
dude, that's great.
Food to eat, and all that. I did that before. It's monetized and whatnot. At one time, I had 25,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And now I stopped, so I'm like, I'm not feeling it anymore. But and then my buddy that I collaborated with that day, he was starting his YouTube channel and said, hey, I got a friend that's celebrating her birthday today. She got another friend, at their hotel room. They invited if you want to go chill with them. So I said, all right, cool. So and that's how I met my wife now. She was the +1 of their friends. So it was it's not like how it was now, where you jump into it and jump into bed and whatnot. We had the whole cordial, I guess courting process.
Yeah, like
right. It's one of those
old fashioned or old school. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Good.
And
That's what
that's
me and my
how
wife. Yeah.
we did was, yeah. And that's how I met her. She's a friend of a friend. And that's how we met. And then I remember because
Do you
that
know sorry to interrupt you. Do you
yeah,
know Michael
yeah,
Thomas?
yeah, that's actually the second in command guy.
Okay.
Mike.
So he's requesting to join in.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's the second in command guy, the EOD guy that I told you, the one that jumped out of the helo. There he is.
There he is. Oh, he's driving.
Now, just everything's just passing by him. He's just sitting there.
Oh,
I
really?
wasn't driving. I was sitting there. No, no. But that's exactly what it is. But he's our second in command guy. He's the guy that I told him, when you run a team, you need a check and balance, right? Especially running a team with, over a dozen different directions. I told him, hey man, knock me on my head if I'm doing something wrong, watch me. And and I don't make a decision by myself. I confer to my council of commanders.
Yeah.
Including, Havoc, which is or Mike that joined us today. I asked him, all right, we got to come up with a big decision here, right? So as a group, we need to come up with what course of action we should partake or we should take in regards to facing something like this. And
Right.
and that's what I like doing. I don't. It's a team. I'm the person that just brought everyone together. But everything else is a team, decision making wise, everything. Each faction, each city that we have has a commander.
Yeah.
And they're the one that's taking care of those people.
Right.
Right. Because I mean, I don't have eyes and ears all the way in Louisiana or Georgia and whatnot. And that's what the faction commanders does. I don't know what's best for Florida. No. I don't know what's best for California.
No,
but we got
exactly. You learned, I'm sure, a long time ago how to delegate because
right
that's important.
Right.
A good leader delegates, not micromanages.
Exactly, and that's what I told them. I'll give you guys whatever tools you guys need.
Yeah,
I'm here, but and they make their own decision based on what's best for that faction. Right? I can't tell them to wear this and that. That's why I told the commanders. I reminded them earlier today too that I can't tell you to wear multi-cam tropics in Florida or in Alaska. You know what's best for you guys' place.
Yeah.
Right. So
just don't tell them to wear all black in Florida.
Oh no. Well, you could go, when you do night assaults only. Yes.
Have you seen the videos,
you get there's a category in there, like a black category where you're not allowed outside for X amount of time or you're gonna die pretty much.
Right.
I mean, Havoc
like
knows
in the military, when it's too hot, you get the black flag days or whatever. But in Florida, like all these hot places, Arizona, it's 115 degrees out. You don't. Number one, if you're playing during the day in any kind of wooded area, wear camo. Okay, don't wear all black. You're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. But
we don't mind that if you're on the other side. That's all good. Just saying.
Yeah, right. You're gonna spend a lot of time in respawn. Okay. Like just saying.
You'll be camping back there. But yeah. So in combined, at least in Hawaii, majority of our guys are either veteran, active duty, and maybe a couple of civilians, right? But everyone knows their place. That's the best thing about Hawaii. Everyone knows their place. And when we say something to you, it's not to scold you down, but to help you out.
No, and the thing is, like nowadays, if you say that, like your place kind of thing, it seems like it's a taboo thing to say. But for the general, just in anyone watching or listening, knowing your place means your ego doesn't get in the way. Okay.
Check yourself.
Don't let your ego get in the way. Just go with the flow kind of thing, right? And know your shortcomings. Know that
exactly.
Know what you don't know.
Right.
Listen to your superiors on the field, or that kind of thing. So if you want to have a good experience, because when you get, I did this, I know this, I'm not going to listen to you. Dude, that just causes so many issues, bro.
Oh yeah, and we, you know, I'm not gonna say that we're perfect. We're far from perfect, you know, but every day we try to improve on something, right? We've had people that had that, and we had to correct them on the spot, right? And they don't take it. At least now we know of that they don't take it harshly. It's all right. I fucked up. I'm gonna try to see what I can do, and they told me things that I need to do in order for me to change. And that's what we are. Because, you know, at the end of the day, we're not building a team. We're forming a brotherhood. And that's what I want, the feeling coming into the team. That's how I want them to feel.
Yeah.
Right? It's a brotherhood where you can go to Louisiana and you have a team waiting for you. They got a cold brew waiting for you when you land at the airport. I mean, might be driving, but, you know, the key to it is finish your drink and then you drive. No, I'm kidding. Don't drink and drive, guys. Don't drink and drive.
I mean, that's how I grew up. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay.
Well, country and whatnot, you can hear deer. That's about it. But here, I mean, big city.
I know, right?
But yeah,
no, there's that camaraderie.
I want that. And being veterans, we seek for that. Even after we get out, we seek for that camaraderie that we learned.
Everyone does. Even if they're not drawn to the military, everyone wants to be a part of something, like some kind of team or some kind of group or some kind of whatever. So there's like we were talking earlier, you know, are you an Xbox guy or a PlayStation guy? Right. Join our group.
Xbox.
Yeah, baby. Woo! I'm talking now.
So, now I see the up for.
The PlayStation guys if they've never gone to Xbox, right? They missed out on Left 4 Dead, Gears of War, and Halo. That's all I got to say. Mic drop, bitch. Okay.
Okay. So the only thing I don't like about Xbox, and why I had those big boxy
Here
Xbox
it comes.
before Halo, where I don't have to shoot someone 30 times. Just jump up in the air and shoot me once and I die. You know, I want something that's more realistic. That's why I was like, hey, Call of Duty's pretty cool. We play hardcore.
Yeah.
You know, and that's me. That's the problem is that
they have that in Halo. It's called SWAT mode, bro. Okay.
But now when I was playing Halo back in the
shields. There's no shields.
Oh, well, still, I want to shoot someone once in the head and they actually die.
That's what happens in SWAT mode. Yes. That's what I used to play SWAT. Yeah.
Well, I don't have that, but you know what? I saw this one game and I'm hoping that they come up with on different platforms for it called Body Cam.
Oh, dude, I just saw a video on that. That looks badass.
So I want to get that because that's like, you know, like you're being a cop and
are you on Steam?
SWAT
what do you play on right now? PlayStation or like a console or?
I play on the bedroom, bro. I don't play any console right now. I had a PlayStation.
Yeah. Okay.
I got a play PS5, but my son plays with it. I mean, I'm gonna have to, you know, that's like I let him go play with that. I'll just play Airsoft and whatnot. And you know, I don't have platform right now, but I know Havoc is very active in that. He plays religiously.
What do you play, Mike? Welcome, by the way.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, buddy?
I'm a Battlefield guy. I was born and raised on Battlefield.
I love
my introduction to Xbox was Halo, the original, and I was good at games until other people discovered them, and then I discovered that I wasn't good at games.
Okay, I got you.
Like the original Modern Warfare 2, I used to be ranked. And so I was like, man, cool, you know, and then other people started getting really good at Modern Warfare 2. And I just watched my rank decrease. And so I was like, all right. And now playing these new age Modern Warfares, I was like, okay, man, you know, all the boys are dusting off the controllers. And we're like, yeah, baby, we back. And then we get in there and we get like steamrolled by these heavy sweats. And it's just like those guys that we were punishing on the original Modern Warfare, I'm now the one being punished. And this is immediate karma. But I'm a Battlefield guy. I love Battlefield. I've been playing all the Battlefields for forever. I do like tactical shooters. The more realistic, the better. I did the Rainbow Six, New Vegas, all the Vegas ones.
Bro, terrorist mode on Rainbow Six. Holy shit! Talk about that transition from, you know, hey, Chris, you're talking about, you know, I want to be able to shoot somebody in the head. Yeah. Try terrorist mode on Rainbow Six.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck, man? I just peeked around the corner and I'm dead.
Hey, Eric, I think I just met your twin, bro.
You know those memes? You know those memes where the guy shows like nowadays, like on Instagram or TikTok, where the guy shows like a defensive move against somebody pulling a gun on you, and the guy takes the gun away, and then it cuts to somebody else trying to do it, and they go to do that move, and they end up in heaven.
Yeah.
That's Rainbow Six Terrorist. Okay, like holy shit, where did that bullet come from? Yeah,
but you should host a game channel where you invite people to come in, and a lot of people are doing that now in their channels too.
Yeah,
where they host a game and they let other people join in there, and I think that would be pretty cool for your channel.
That'd be fun,
wouldn't it?
Well, I have multiple YouTube channels. I have this one. So we started a gaming channel. It's called Trifecta Airsoft Gaming, and we did similar what you're talking about. So we had a game night. We would have a game night every like couple times a month or something like that. So we would play all kind of shit like Roblox, paintball thing and Roblox. We played anything where a lot of people could join in, and something IO, picture IO or something like that, where it's basically like Pictionary, you know what I mean? And it was really user friendly, where people could just it's Pictionary basically on an app. But we did that. We did a handful of games, but I didn't have time to run work full time and run all these different channels. I was like, okay, what do I want to do here? What do I want to focus on?
Well, see, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a dang outlet.
Yeah, right.
Like, me being retired, I wake up crack of noon every day.
Oh Lord,
and,
this guy.
Right? The struggle is real. The struggle is real, trying to find something.
Must be nice. I doubt.
So I gotta find stuff.
Okay.
True. Sometimes 2, 3 in the afternoon. No, so I can't. Mike, I cannot.
So Chris, how did you and Mike meet?
Oh, so when I first started playing at this old defunct field here in Hawaii, it's called Dogs of War. I was always feel like I was dominating and whatnot until one guy flanked the whole friggin' team and shot all of us from behind and smiled and laughed at us. And that is the guy who you see in front of you. That's the only guy that have done that to me. And that's I'm like, oh, I like this guy. No homo. I like this guy.
Yeah.
It is a good dude. So, and that's what attracted him. And then, we got to know each other and whatnot. And we both got this vision of actually bringing Hawaii back to, Airsoft back to Oahu, and pretty much changing the environment. Because like I said, we talked about toxicity and whatnot existing. The changes that we've seen, it needs to change or else the sport's going to fail in Hawaii. Right. And so we came apart, and then we got with Bailey with Milsim Hawaii, and we say, hey man, let's redo this whole thing that we got going on in Hawaii and whatnot. And that's exactly what happened. And then, and that's how he kept around, because I know he's a good guy to keep around in a team, because he keeps me in check. This guy's not scared to come up to me and say, man, you're fucking up. And trust me, I will curl up with what? See his eyes right there? Number one, when that shit's looking at you close.
Honestly,
besides panty droppers for the ladies, it's fucking scare your fucking soul.
Yeah, what are they, gray? Are your eyes gray? Like ice blue?
My ID card says hazel. They do green. So it's a really bright green. But they change with the seasons. So,
right.
My wife says they change from attitude. So I don't.
Yeah. It's a nude eyeball.
Yeah, right. Remember the mood rings?
Hey, you guys remember? I'm gonna age myself against here. I'm gonna age myself against. Have you guys remember hyper colors? That jeans that changes color or something.
Oh yeah, you're right. Right.
The pigmentation.
I think it's called hyper. Yeah, and that's exactly what his eye is. You can tell when he's pissed, because I think it turns red, but he doesn't know it. But the color, the shade that scares the shit out of people.
Yeah.
That's why I feel comfortable talking to him with his glasses on, but when he takes that shit off, it's like, all right, it's serious.
Nah, man, Chris is really easy. You know, that I was a bomb guy when I was active duty. So I am a combat support tier 3 and 2 support element. I'm not a cool guy. So that's what I make sure that people
We talked about that earlier. Different levels.
I got to work with a lot of cool guys. Like even today, you know, I do private security and bodyguarding and stuff. And I'm still learning from these guys because everything transfers, knowledge transfers. So being able to teach those kids when we were working at that airsoft field, you know, Chris and his team, they had the buildings pretty much locked down. And you just, you know, it's like Novocaine. You give it a little time, it always works. And, you know, we just kept hitting the one side that we thought was the weakest, and we finally found a breaching point. And then after that is CQB, one-on-ones, win your one-on-one. And it was a good time. But these people, there was a kid at the airsoft field when I came up there to see you on Sunday. He was a kid in middle school. I remember having him bring me his report card. Because you know, if you brought me good grades on your report card, I'd give you free BBs. I'd give you a free game day. You know, there was rewards because school was always the priority, but airsoft was an outlet. So now he's in the Air Force. He's an avionics technician on C-17 Globemasters.
Wow!
And you know, he came up
that's
to me.
a
He's
great
like, "Hey,
success story."
Yeah, man, and that's what this is about for us, and that's why I can get down with Chris. Chris is not here. Like, great, airsoft is fun, but the community is why we're here, and people have taken this stuff. You know, I got guys. Another one just hit me up. He wants to go to EOD school, so I'm like giving him a breakdown of. Now I went to EOD school in 2005, so it's 2024 now. Almost 20 years later, there's a lot of things that are probably different. But you know what doesn't change is having your top secret clearance, your TSSCI, and not being able to take your material home to study. You know, our physical fitness test is not the same as everybody's physical fitness test because ours is more technical, and then we're worried about more stuff like grip. You do have to be physically fit to do the job, but we have a grip test. We have different things that has changed since I've been out.
What's the grip test for? Why would you have to have good grip for EOD?
Depending on what type of munition you carry. So some munitions you'll hold with both hands. You'll carry with the fuse down. But you've already rendered it safe. So this is just a safe way to carry it, so you know that you don't drop it.
And if you drop it, it's bad.
No, because if you're carrying it, you've already rendered it safe. So once I rendered it safe, you know, I can throw it as far as I want to. It's just not. It's not good to do that.
Right.
It's not good protocol. Yeah, but we leave that to the Marine Corps. I was in that one time. And
I got it.
They had a team leader. He was a gunnery sergeant. So Air Force was just plussing up their guys. So they were doing route clearance. I got honored to strap onto those guys. We took small arms contact. The gunny was downrange, and he was just like, "Okay, screw it." And I remember seeing him like go down there, and he picked it up. He just started walking back. He threw it in the back of the Humvee. He was like, "All right, let's go." And I'm like, there's no way you rendered it safe while you were down there. So I had permission to get on the 50 because if it blows up, it's just going to take off my legs. And, you know, hopefully. God. So, but that was the Marine Corps.
And he just threw it in the back of me.
Yeah, he just threw it in the back. So I'm like, so the thought process is that, you know, a lot of times they shoot like the 107 millimeter projectiles, like the RPGs.
Yeah.
If they don't take the arming pin out, then it flies. The rocket engages, but the explosive device is not. It can never arm.
PE. So, the PE is not going to engage.
So it just skips across the ramp.
Or
whatever it's shooting at, it'll just skip. So then you can just grab that and then throw it, and then you can dispose of it later. So that's my assumption of what happened with that gunny. But you know, he just came and he threw it in the truck, and we were like, "All right, man, you know."
Holy shit! That's like a scene in a movie, bro. Holy shit!
Well, see, that's the biggest thing. You know, I don't know if you remember, Havoc, how many different models. I mean, we'd have to say it, but there's quite a few models of the RPGs out there. And and they got different ways because they got base detonating fuses, they got piezoelectric fuses and whatnot. They got different ones out
ice.
there. Ice, exactly. So the thing about that we got to remember is we always revert back to that document that I'm not gonna name, and supposed to be the book of lesson learned.
The Bible, right. That's fine.
And like I said, you got to know which one, because out of the dozens of different types of RPGs out there, you got to know which one this is specifically it is, so you know how to render it safe and whatnot. Or else, you know, you can start up the explosive chain. Who knows, right? And what they said about the RPG and the rockets, that's a whole new separate thing for the actual main explosive.
I knew that EOD was way more involved than just, do you cut the red wire or the blue wire?
It's never the red wire unless they're all red.
I honestly, I was very ignorant to how broad EOD is. Like, you have to know electronics, you have to know all these different weapon types. I didn't know that there was all these different RPGs. I have no clue. I've never held an RPG, like an RPG 7 or whatever. I fired an AT4 in boot camp. I was in boot camp in 1989. Okay. We were still training in jungle tactics, not desert shit, you know?
Yeah.
So it was AT4 was the only rocket I ever fired. And then the Mark 19 was the most badass fucker on the field, bro. That thumper was great to shoot. And the 50 cal, of course. But the I didn't know there was multiple RPG stuff that you guys had to learn.
Oh, yeah. It's just munitions in general. A lot of the stuff.
Anything that explodes.
We have a database. Yeah, we have a database that you can go to. When you're in prelim school, you kind of do like basic munition identification. And then once you go through EOD school, they break it up into different modules, different sections. And so it's like bite-sized bites. You're going to do ground elements. You're going to do air elements. You're going to do nukes. You're going to do IEDs. And so each section is a pass or fail, sink or swim section. You test every day. And so
without taking home any study materials. Without taking home any study materials.
I wonder why.
You have to take good notes.
But that's mental notes.
Go down there. You take the robot down there, or if you can see it with the binos, and it's easy enough to identify because they left it out. But a lot of our stuff was just the reason why we had to get really good at that electrical wiring and stuff like that is because of IEDs. Basically, you know, if I'm the one that put it together, you have to think like the bomber. If I'm the one that put it together, how did I put it together so that I know how to take it apart?
Yeah.
And that part is that was the most fun that I had, getting to work with the other branches, getting to work with some of the other countries, going to Vegas, doing red flag and stuff like that. My wife was looking up.
Did you ever have to do VIP missions? Oh wait, he's still on that. Have you done any VIP escorts?
Oh, so
I did get to support the Secret Service on during the campaign trail.
Okay. Yep.
So Secret Service doesn't bring any they don't have like a bomb element. That might have changed now, but when I was in, when they came through Arkansas, they got to do some stuff, and you're just going and sweeping whatever the facility that they have that they're going to be hosting an event at. So got to work with the Secret Service there. Overseas, I did get to participate in some VIP escort stuff, and that was just being at the right place at the right time. Normally, you're not dragging a bomb tech along to do VIP escort or PSDs and stuff like that.
Do you guys have to use dogs, like bomb sniffing dogs? So do you have like a canine person or something?
Well, for me, so security forces or our MPs, there's an actual MOS in the Army called 19 Kilo, those are the dog handlers.
So it's a separate, like that
MOS.
one person. Okay.
It's an MOS itself. And I respect those guys dearly, because when I was deployed in Iraq 2010, 2011, I stayed in the kennel where all those dogs are. And I tell you what, when they don't have that jacket on, they're like the sweetest puppies you can have. You can have around you.
Sure.
Right? But when they put the vest on, they know
until they get mad at you. Okay.
They switch.
They'll rip your balls off.
Man.
Right.
Those dogs are super good, man. My brother was a dog handler. He was a canine handler his whole time, and he did bomb dogs. So he did that last tour in Kabul, and we passed each other on the way out of Bagram.
What?
Yeah, so it was pretty cool, man. I got a lot of military history in my family, and then just friends that became family. Like I take people to my mom's house to get the best lemonade on this side of the Mississippi. And so like my mom has met my people. But the bomb dog guys, yeah, man. Those guys, the guys that attached to the dagger elements, like Air Force is like our special warfare department is super cool. And people call us the chair force and everything else, but we are the most specialized group when it comes to people learning things. Like, and this is no shade at Chris. Like Chris is very good at what he did. But then you can take an Air Force guy and it's specific to that. Chris is capable of going out and doing like quick reaction force to go and recover a down pilot. Air Force has an entire unit and AFSC specific to combat search and rescue. So like we specialize in things. That's why we're able to attach to everybody else. Most of the time, Army has EOD techs. They don't need Air Force EOD techs, but we just plus up, or maybe we have better equipment because we have better funding. So we are an asset to strap to a different unit. You get PJs, the combat controllers. They normally can go out with SEAL teams. Those guys can go to tier 1 units like the 24th Special Tactics Squadron, First Special Operations Group, stuff like that. EOD, we will support those units. It's just right place at the right time.
Yeah. Right. And I told you earlier, I was relaying to him that I told Eric and the viewers that EOD is the most confusing thing because you know what? The school is held in an Air Force base run by a Navy command and everyone else attends it. I mean, am I wrong on that? I mean, NAV school.
Yeah, NAV school EOD. Yep.
Yes, sir.
It's something else. Lots of hooyahs.
Yep.
Lots of hooyahs.
and I do get, at the end of the day, you guys already know it. All three of us being veterans here, we give each other a hard time. But when it comes down to it, we snap to and we're just, all right, brother, let's go. What we need. Right. That's how we are trained, right? Whether you're in the Marine or Air Force or Army or Navy and whatnot, we are trained to pretty much coexist. Barely, but we learn to coexist.
Well, that's funny. What we do. You can always see the different, like in groups, you can see the difference of like the branches of service, because usually the higher ego is lower IQ, right? So it is. You're gonna have the macho man, Marines trying to, I can do more push-ups than you, bitch. And then, all the way in the other spectrum is like Air Force guys or Navy, sometimes Navy, they're higher IQ, right? They go in for like a career, they want to learn something, and Marines go in to be tough physically, like I want to see how many pull-ups I could do. And then, but when you get in groups like that, you can see when you all mix, all the different branches, you're like, okay,
you know what?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go. You guys want to go over there and punch each other in the face like 10 times? Go ahead.
Yes.
We'll go over here and, to the nice chow hall.
It's in a nice cushion massage chair.
It's called a dining facility.
Oh, sorry. Yes, that's right.
And they do have culinary specialists.
When I got stationed at Okinawa, the first month I was there, my buddies were like, dude, we got to go to Kadena Air Base for the, which was right down the road it was like 5 miles down the road from where I was, the base I was on at Camp Butler. And they were like, we got to go to Kadena Air Base for the chow hall. And I was like, all right. So we go in there and I was like, bro, there's girls in here. What? and they're pretty.
Yeah. And that's how I would categorize it. I mean, it's a known fact. The Air Force attracts them. That's just the way it is.
It was great.
And then the Army and the Air Force and Marines. Yeah.
And there was mood lighting. I'm not kidding, man. It looked like a restaurant in there. It was like dark wood, oak or whatever. I don't know, tables. It was beautiful. And I was like, holy shit. Yeah, cherry, right? I said, oh my God.
So when I went to Iraq, we stayed up a Navy base in there. And shit, they got a pool in Iraq. I was like, what the hell? Yeah, a pool in Iraq.
Crazy.
That is a transition base where we go from Kuwait to Iraq and then to our final destination within Iraq. So it's like a hub where everyone goes through for indoctrination to the country, and then they get pushed out to their cub, whatever. And they had a swimming pool, an Olympic-sized swimming pool in their freaking base. I was like, I think I joined the wrong freaking branch here.
We use that for PT, sir. PT.
Oh, okay, yeah,
there you go. PT. There you go.
And since there's no physical therapy around, you guys use some massage chairs. I got you. It's for
yes, that's right.
Maintenance. Okay, yep, I got you.
Always supporting the warfighter, sir.
Yeah, but see, we as much as we hate on Air Force, college Air Force and whatnot, he was right though about they are more specialized within the branch to whatever MOS they are. That's exact. They're the most technical of all the branches.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is, right? I can't survive as an Air Force airman because apparently my IQ is not good enough. But like I say, it's good that there's a technical part of Department of Defense. Right, and that's where they accelerate above the other branches. Whereas the Navy, I mean, they could play in the puddle all day, right? Army, right. we just hate on everyone, and Marines they just eat crayons and whatnot, and that's why they call Gatorade by color, not by flavor. I'm just saying, Marines don't hate on me. We're just poking fun at you.
No, I love it. I love it. We love all those jokes, man. The jarhead. Yeah. I had somebody on. This is like 2 years ago. I had somebody on the podcast that was like, they were just out of the Marine Corps. Okay, they served 4 years, so they were like 24, and I was like, I didn't know when I invited him on the podcast. I had no clue that they were, he was in the Marine. So he gets on and as he's telling me, I was like, hey, what, how'd you grow up? Where'd you go? Were you always I think he was in Utah. And he's like, oh no, I went in the Marines and I did this. And I said, oh, you're a fellow jarhead. And he goes, I don't think we call it that anymore. And I was like, no way. That's a great term. I love jarhead. What are you talking about? Haven't you seen Heartbreak Ridge? Come on.
Oh God. Yeah. Wait, what's another term? Devil dogs.
Devil dogs.
Yep.
That's what that's why we call them. Yep.
And jarhead are the three. Yeah.
And then you know what? There was this. Remember, you guys heard of the acronyms they got for the branches of the military. Whereas Navy means never again volunteer yourself. Right. And then the Army. Okay. Yeah. And then Army aren't really Marines yet. Right.
Okay.
And then the Marines is kind of long. It's men asking rides in Navy equipment.
Oh shit.
That's what a Marine is.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Exactly. And then Air Force is Air Force.
We don't have one. Exactly.
We don't need one.
Oh damn.
We do what we want.
Y'all special. Oh shit. Okay.
I mean, if Coast Guard was Department of Defense,
AF, we are.
But yeah, that's the acronym.
AF. There you go. My daughter was in the Air Force for 4 years, so yeah.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
So my daughter, when my kids were getting old enough to towards the end of their high school years or whatever, they were asking. They were like, "Oh, we want to go in the military," because I told them not war stories, but military stories. I wasn't in war, and so they were like, "Oh yeah, we're thinking about going in this branch or that branch," and then my daughter was talking about it, just kind of here and there, and I was like, "Go in the Air Force." Please go in the Air Force, because my daughter she's really smart. And I was like, just go learn. They will teach you, they're way better at teaching you technical stuff and all that kind of stuff, career
and that's why we make fun of them, like I said, on Air Force. But 95% of veterans nowadays, you ask them, where would you send your kids? And majority of us, Air Force. 95% will say Air Force.
100%.
Oh yeah, because like I said, the being technically savvy and whatnot. I mean, besides that, they're part of the Fortune 500 companies. I don't know if you know that.
No, I did know that, but also if I would have known that I could have switched, like transitioned from, instead of re-upping in the Marine Corps to Air Force back when I did, when it was my 4 years were up, I would have switched to Air Force. So I had a guy on here a couple years ago that's part of the Moon Goon Squad. That's his team up in Pennsylvania, and he spent 4 years active duty Marine Corps, switched over to Air Force, and he's active duty Air Force right now. And so we talked about that. Actually, he did the podcast at the Air Force base where he was at, and while he was at work. And so it was a really interesting conversation. And he was like, yeah, I know all this shit. And I was like, no, I'm really curious, because how was that transition? And, and he's like, dude, it's so nice. He's like, it's so nice. And I was like, God, I wish I would have done that. Like, for real. It's not just because it's easier, it's physically, it's just, the whole environment is totally different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely better living conditions.
Oh yeah.
I won't say better treatment. Your treatment is based on your unit, and I think that's across any branch. I was at an Air Force base where our wing king, how do I say, is that your guys' battalion commander?
Okay, yeah.
So the man in charge of the base, or the woman.
Wing king? I love that. Yeah,
wing king. He shut down the entire base. I was stationed in North Dakota. So in North Dakota, there's not a whole lot going on. And because of the temperature, everything sucks.
Sure.
Life sucks.
Cold.
Especially during a winter season, because snow on the ground 9 months out of the year. But I remember that was one of my first duty stations. So I'm going through this, we call it the first term airman program. And the base command chief, master sergeant, comes down. He was like, hey, so the wing king is throwing this party. Are you guys coming? And we were like, nah, like, why would we go to a party hosted by the wing king? It sounds like a bad time. So the chief was like, look, if you already got your ticket, raise your hand. So like 2 people out of 20 already had their ticket. So he was like, okay, hey, I'm paying for you guys' tickets to come. Now, if I pay for your ticket, you will show up, or you will be in my office on Monday morning.
Ooh.
So like, understood. Yes, sir. So we go to the party. He went to Minneapolis and rented poker table equipment from the casino in Minneapolis. He shut down the base except for the skeleton crew, because the defenders never get a day off.
Right.
So he shut down the base, and he turned the community center into a casino royale setting. So everybody had to dress up.
Nice.
The girls had to wear like Bond girl outfits, and the guys are wearing their best tuxedos and stuff. And we gambled with Monopoly money. But then he gave away real prizes at the end of the night. So I've seen commands like that. And then I've also seen like, I'm not going to bash nobody else. But I've seen bad commands. Like,
right.
Your leadership, hands down, makes a unit. It definitely could have gone either way. I think if I could go back and do it all over again, knowing what I know now at 38, I would have done Coast Guard, just because of who I am. Learning how to do security. I would have loved working in the Department of Homeland.
Right.
Because we get to assist with them now. With the sex trafficking stuff, and that side of the job is pretty cool. But
a lot of people don't realize, Coast Guard, they get a lot of freaking action, bro. Holy shit!
Oh yeah. Out here in Hawaii, these boys are always
Somali
working.
pirates, and over the years, and right.
You know what? I was surprised when I first pushed out with the Navy back in the days. I ended up going on a medical leave. I was sent to Bahrain in the Middle East, right? And I saw a Coast Guard vessel there. I was like, what the hell are you guys doing so far off the coast of the United States? And that's when they said, yeah, we actually deploy worldwide. I was like, oh.
Yes. And deployment is a choice for them. Like, they don't have to deploy. They volunteer for deployments. There's a guy out here.
Deploy. I didn't know the Coast Guard leaves U.S. waters.
Exactly what I thought.
Exactly. Nobody knows anything about
it.
Holy shit.
Yep, there's a guy here, Andrew Siepka. He works with the Wounded Warrior Project. Right now, he's training a lot of the Marines on K-Bay, and so he was on the Coast Guard's MSRT team. It's basically like SWAT. But did you ever see the video of the guys that jumped on top of the submarine that was trying to smuggle drugs?
Yes.
And bang on the door.
MSRT.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's what he did. That was his career.
Oh, that's crazy, bro.
I was like, man, if I could go and do it all over again, that'd be me. But I actually wasn't in Bahrain. I was at Djibouti, and the Coast Guard was working out of a base out there, and they needed a bomb guy, so I got to plus up. So they were doing an operation. I've never climbed on the ladder. I've never done any boat work or anything. This is when we were looking for. There was a task force they had put together, and Salamani is the guy that was putting together EFPs. So I guess they had a tally on stuff that he was smuggling. They had an ID on the boat. So they were like, okay, hey, so me, my team leader for the EOD team, we got to plus up these Coast Guard guys. So we hit the boat, and MSRT guys are going in. And so we're doing clearing the boat. And the first guy, he grabs a Somali pirate and smashes his face into the bulkhead. And the dude, like that for me was like the movies. And
unintentionally. Accidents happen allegedly.
The guy was trying to hurt us, so I feel like
there you go. It was a defensive move. That's what it was. Yeah.
See, that's how you know he's your commander. Okay, he's like, okay, he's gonna keep this on the level, baby. Okay, all legal.
After that mission, I never said puddle pirate ever again. It was at that moment that I was like, the Coast Guard, I don't care what they say, they are a branch of the military, because if you see their guys work, you know they do a good job, and their job is consistent and constant. So after doing that, man, you know, that was my one and only time on a boat mission, and a good experience. 0 stars, don't recommend. I get seasick.
Yeah.
But after that, man, that was pretty cool. If I could go back and do it again, for sure, I would have done Coast Guard.
Isn't that weird? It's so weird that they're out of the 5 branches that we have, you know, they're included. They don't get included. They are like nobody gives them any props at all ever.
But see, you know, I
never worked with them.
People know about it, right?
Yeah, right.
During time of war, Coast Guard falls under Department of Defense, right? But peacetime or no conflict time, they're supposed to fall under Homeland Security.
Okay.
So we learned to accept coasties, right? In the military, like, I guess, you know, the bastard child, come on in, right? So I'm not sure how willing or open arm we are in regards to the Space Force, the Star Trekkers. The newest branch. I'm not sure.
Potato.
Yeah, the potato heads. So I don't know how. It might take a long time for us to warm up to them and whatnot. But you know what? If you talking about technical, smart, that's who they would be at. The smartest of the Air Force would be in there. I shit you not.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm trying to push my son that way. If he wants to join the military, like, you should join the Space Force, because that's the future.
So that is the future. What nickname do they have? You know, you got Coasties, you got Jarheads, you got
a nickname. I don't know. I know their ranks are called the Guardians.
Well, yeah, the Guardians, shit. Like Guardians of Galaxy.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
And you know, it's funny because if you Google their Class A uniform, you just like, that's some Star Trek shit.
That looks just like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on old boy to just tap his little button and be like, "Hey, beat me up, Scotty." I'm waiting on
it. Space Force
uniform
or
class uniform. Yeah.
All right, let me share the screen.
There'll be a while for them to warm up to Department of Defense. I tell you that. That's why I think they're still part of. See. I mean, I want to see their salute. Is it like this also? I mean, how the heck?
The Spock.
Right. Yeah. I mean.
So which one is it? I mean, I see. Is this
the top left? Yep. That's it.
Right here?
Yep. That's it.
That does look like the like.
Beep beep.
Yeah. And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe they fall under Air Force currently right now. So they're in a way to getting separated from them. Pretty much how they're in a process like we went the Army and the Air Force and the Marine and Navy fell through, where before the Air Force was Army Air Corps. Yep. And then when the Navy was the ground, they're the ground guys for the Navy. So I think they're in the process. See, look at that. Their E1 is an astronaut.
Spaceport ranks, enlisted ranks.
Astronaut? Are you kidding me?
What?
Yeah, astronaut? That's their private, I think.
It is.
Yeah, and look, they got Starship.
Oh, you're an astronaut. You suck.
Massive. Okay. Yeah, I know, right?
Get over here, you fucking boot.
So you're private. That's what you're saying.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Chief Master Sergeant of the Space Force. Okay.
So I like that Starbase Master Sergeant.
Starbase Senior Master Sergeant.
Hey, if you turn your phone upside down, that top row, it looks like the ships from Galaga.
Dude.
I might have shown my age right there, but Galaga was my thing.
Galaga was the shit, bro. Dude, listen, when I was for real, when I was I grew up on video games in the 80s. So I was born in 70, and my dad would take me to a local arcade, an actual arcade game, arcade place, and where pinball machines and Galaga and all kind of, Space Invaders and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. The big machines. So we'd go there with quarters, and he would take me there like once every 3 or 4 months, and a handful of quarters. And then he would just watch. And I was like, Dad, you want to play this, And he's like, no, I like watching you. And, but yeah, I loved video games even then. So I would play Galaga. I would play Tempest. Tempest was really difficult, actually. But Galaga was the shit, bro. Like Space Invaders, Galaga, and
Centipede.
Yeah.
All right, here's something that's going to age me big time. You guys heard of Dig Dug?
Dig Dug was the shit. Dude, I love Dig Dug. And Burger Time. I used to love making those burgers.
And what was that one? Contra Commandos.
Oh, Contras.
Contra. Up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. That's old school.
They had a Contra machine and arcade, game machine in Okinawa on Camp Foster.
Wow.
When I was there in 1990. Okay. We would go there. It was in the PX. So we go there to get. Now look, 1990 in Okinawa on Camp Foster. We would go to the PX, and we could get a case, 24-pack of Coors Light for $5 even, no tax, right? $5. We could go to the commissary and get a carton of cigarettes. What is a carton? 10 packs or something? I don't know. I haven't smoked in so long, but you can get a carton of cigarettes for $2.11, a whole carton. It was $3, but they had this rip-off coupon thing on the carton, and for $1 off. So a whole weekend, bro, like you're spending very little money for smokes and drinks to go to. They had this place in Okinawa called the Seawall, and we would go hang out at the Seawall and get and drink and smoke, whatever. But yeah, they had a Contra machine at the PX where we would get this case of Coors Light, and we would stand there and play while we're drunk as shit and fight over who mashed the button faster or whatever.
Right. Sorry guys, I got to change mic because the household 6 is doing some preparation in the kitchen.
Are you good, bro?
Well, why don't we wrap up?
Right there.
Yeah, why don't we wrap up? And
it's my turn to cook, so the wife keeps coming back and looking at the door.
Yeah. Well, it's 1:20 a.m. here in South Carolina. and and I got to get up for work at 6:30. So, yeah,
why don't we do why don't we plan out part 2 of this conversation? Because we barely, like, we're the tip of the iceberg.
No, I usually have people on for a second time anyway. So why don't I have you guys on? Mike, I want to talk to you and get your background as well, like I did with Chris. Do a whole separate thing. So I'll have you on separate, and then we should do like a team thing. You know what I'd like to do, man, is get you two and Bailey on, and we do like a group, and maybe some of your team.
Yeah.
So like I said in our text, Chris, I've had up to like, I mean, we can have a lot of people on here, but to make it like when it gets to around 7, 8, 9 people, it's and I've had that, it gets a little crazy, right? You can't, it's not good for a podcast.
No.
Unless you take turns, or unless I do like a format where I ask a question to each person or something like that. Well, but which I don't like doing. I like just like casual conversation, just chiming in. But so we can do like 4 or 5 people on here, including me, and so have a couple of your guys on in the future. So
yeah, sure. Just let us know when we're open. I'm open to it. I don't know about Havoc, because it's a busy guy.
Yeah,
jumping out of helicopters and shit. So
no, he'll be good for it. So, Chris, why don't you tell everybody where they can find all your guys' stuff for your team and like all your socials?
So we're all over. Social media. We got a Facebook page, we got an IG page and whatnot, and we also got a Discord where we all go, but that's been locked down, where we're only doing invites only type of deal. But if you want to reach to one of us, just approach one of us and say hi on the field. My guys will have the patch. We got this patch for this is what we do for our probies. Once they get invited to the team, they get one of these. And then once they get the Lord of Death patch, that makes them like a full-fledged member and whatnot. So approach one of us with the patches, and we'll talk more. We'll talk to you, and all the guys, we made sure that we got quality people. We don't have any people that stuck up and whatnot. We're always open to that, to talk to people, and just approach one of us, or go to our Facebook or Instagram page, and just let us know if you need anything, and we're open to talk to you.
Awesome. That's a Special Missions Detachment, right? So I'll have all those links on the video. So anyone watching or listening, go to the description, and you'll see all these links in here for these guys, and go give them a follow and check out their stuff. So I appreciate you, man. Appreciate both of you guys being on.
Easy day, brother. Be safe.
Joe Rogan of Airsoft.
All right, man. I appreciate
you. All right, take care, brother. Have a good one.
Yeah, have a good one.
Good night.